Hello, everybody. Trying to get the cable for my controller. Hey, Galaxy Inferno, you're here early. Good job claiming first. I hate chili. So there's a tiny change that I wanted to look at just now from yesterday. Actually, first let me talk about a couple things. One, I did a little too much yesterday. I just kept doing all these different tasks that I had, and some of it was coding and some of it was like personal chores that I had, and I don't know. Anyway, it just felt like from when I woke up to when I went to sleep, I was just doing something, and it wasn't necessarily like, okay, I'm totally decompressing now, although there were some moments of that. You did it. Yeah, good job. Anyway, as a result, I don't know how today is going to go. I'm going to try my hardest to just stick with it, but I feel like there's a grit, what is it? I don't know, I'll just say pool for lack of a better thing, but like you run out of how much enthusiasm you can have for everything and how much willpower you can exert. It's essentially like motivation fatigue. So yeah, like I said, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's go take a look at this. Oh yeah, I made 2 videos yesterday. I only published one of them, but one of them was the localization video. All right, so we go into the top-down shooter. So I want to see how fire rate affects the upgrades affect your actual fire rate. Oh, I also added a little bullet spread here. So now you shoot at a plus or minus 5-degree angle from where you're actually aiming. All right, so there's fire rate. So if we get one of these, it did increase the speed by more than it seems like it used to. It used to be just a flat like decrease to the amount of time it would take, which meant that toward the end, it felt like it was a huge difference. We might actually have wanted to just keep it that way. I'm not sure. 2 videos. Yeah, well, the 2 videos were the main point of yesterday. Recording the first one took like 2.5 hours, then editing it. So I got that done by lunchtime. And then the other video wasn't too bad. It was pretty low effort. But then, yeah, I just kept doing other stuff. All right, so if I were to die here, let's try this out. I wonder how obvious it would be that my fire rate is the same, because this might have not been the best idea. I should probably randomize the Y coordinate those go to. Oh, I also randomize which way the enemies face. Yeah, we still gotta do some balancing on this anyway, so yeah, this isn't too bad. Yeah, I think the change the fire rate made this too easy. I should probably get rid of that. I'm killing everything in like one hit. I mean, not really, but close enough. I'll get that one too. I'm almost done testing this. I'm not sure if I like it. Yeah, I'm not sure I like it. Kill him, kill him, kill him. Oh, I am definitely dying. Alright, well, this looks a lot cooler now with a 5-degree spread there. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. The old style of doing things was that it wasn't super obvious that you were even getting an improvement when you upgraded fire rate. This could just be part of the balance equation, that we lower the impact overall. And now I'm just doing this for fun at this point. I did not get a lot of luck upgrade. There's one. Alright, fire rate must be maxed out. I don't think we got a single one there. Alright, pretty good. Oh no, there was a fire rate upgrade. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, cool. By the way, for those who didn't see the video, I'll link it in the chat, but it doesn't really matter. Adam learns. The kid's got to be this one. Yeah, it was 26 minutes long. It kind of covered everything I wanted to cover in it. All right. So yeah, let's check this in. What do we have here? So minimum fire rate, shooting cooldown reset. This has changed. Effective cooldown seconds. This is all moved here. Base fire cooldown seconds. Minimum fire. Mat.min. Max fire rate. Fire rate. Base shots per second. Yeah, this is fine. We could cache this. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so change how fire rate upgrades work. It used to be that the initial upgrades would provide a less noticeable impact to the number of, well, actually not less noticeable, literally just less impactful. Impactful change to the number of bullets per second you would shoot. Now each upgrade provides the same delta. I'm not even sure that I like this new behavior, since it makes it much more obvious that your upgrades persist through death. Yeah. Did I put a period at the end of that? Yes, I did. Okay. All right, so loot boxes. Fixed player collision. You can overlap with item displays because of the collision box and Y sorting. Let's go to flow control flags. Yes, we're starting the loot box game. Playing as the Skeleseller cleric. All right, so yeah, there's no Y sorting on this. And the collision is pretty wonky. So I think we make it be the whole character. What is it called? Loot box player. I also kind of want to bake in a sprite so that you can actually see this, even though we're going to override this anyway. I wonder if there's a problem with that. All right, what are we looking for here? Assets, sprites, characters, loot box, adventurer. This is 16 by 20. Just going to click that one. And that way we can see what the shape should be. Probably a rectangle and probably like this. In fact, this should just be 16 by 20, right? I guess it doesn't really have to be. Let's try that out. So this is change number 1. The other change, though, is Y sorting that we need to work out. Yeah, this should go up to maybe like here. Yeah, and then Y sorting will do the rest for us. All right, so let's turn this stuff all off. And then set Y sorting. How did I do this in the other games? Because that's kind of what I want to do here too. Those other tabs. You know what? I'm going to set a shortcut for that. Close other tabs. Option Command T. Perfect. Okay. So we'll load up the... What game is closest to this? Probably the top-down shooter. So rooms had Y sort enabled, and then the room itself probably did. Starter room, base room. Yes. Okay, so same thing over here. We enable Y sorting. Do we do it on the base of the game? We do. And whoops, I guess I didn't need to restart, but let's go try that and just see what happens now. Yeah, I think this is good, which means I think we should make it so the item displays are like that, really. Does that change on the fly? It broke it. Agent 13531. Hey, Goose. And good morning. So this is not working just yet. You can see I look like I'm on top of the crate, even though I should be behind it. And I think we just need to do this. Yeah, perfect. All right, that's looking good. I wonder if we did that in Skeleseller. We might have. But yeah, looking nice. Now, the other way we could slightly improve this is by making this a capsule so that it makes it easier to walk around these things. Where did that character go? Here. Actually, shouldn't it just be a circle then? But then we need this to fit perfectly. I'll try this. It might not be as convincing though. Yeah. Hey, Nepets. Welcome in. I see your account is 1 day old on Twitch. So possibly welcome to Twitch as well. How's this looking? Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Although it is, I guess, a little bit more obvious that it's a circle that's controlling this. Nah, that is good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go check that in. So add Y sorting. I also, well, add Y sorting to the loot box game. I also fix up some collision areas to make this slightly more convincing. Isn't really the right word, but I'm just going to write it anyway because close enough. Yeah, this is looking good. Don't we need to do this for customers too, though? I think so, and I think we do. Well, I'll just do it anyway. Whatever. Yeah. We'll see if anything goes wrong after that. All right, interactables. For any of these, we want to indicate that the player will interact with the thing by outlining them when they're close enough. Pressing an action key, jump, will trigger the action associated with them. So we basically need to identify what is the closest interactable thing that you can get to. And we have 3 interactables in the game. The treasure spear, treasure stands, and item stands. I guess we could also say that the portal is one of them, but the portal you'll just walk into. Do I have the portal written down here? I should. Yeah, allow walking through the portal. Yeah. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Because what I'm thinking of originally here is like any interactable, we have a region, and when the player enters, some entity is responsible for figuring out which one you're closest to. It could just be the player. This is kind of how farming player worked, I think. Farm player. I think we got overlapping, yeah, overlapping areas. And we just went through all of these and tried talking because you could never have 2 NPCs that close to each other, I guess. But I think we should do it based on which one is closest. And we should probably figure out the interactable. So yeah, I think there should be a specific type for this. So how do I want to do that? Yeah, so the player could list out the overlapping bodies and then figure out the closest one. Or the one with the most overlap or something? Oh wait, there's some other issue here with this, right? Like I'm gonna eventually end up with code like this. Just copy this for now. Let's go through overlaps, or I guess like sort overlaps by which is closest or has the most overlap. So then we get that thing and we would do something like closest area dot get parent. So this would need to be an interactable dot interact with. Yeah, and then we need to cut out your input from there potentially so that something else would handle it. So I got to write that down too. Make sure choosing an option from the dialog doesn't cause you to interact with anything in the world. So yeah, this would work. This requires that these three things are interactables. What is it? Treasure, spirit, treasure, stands, and item displays. And in order for them to all be interactables, I guess we'd have them inherit from a base scene or something. It's possible we can do this. I just don't know if this is the best way. They could all inherit from an interactable scene. It might make more sense for them to just implement an interface. Yeah, it probably makes more sense for this to be an interface. Just like interactable, and it has a public void interact with. Would we need positions for this? What are we doing when you interact with them? Buying a chest, that doesn't need a position. We just need to know which thing. Yeah, that should be fine. Treasure stand. Yeah, and then item stand. Open the price dialog. Yeah, I think this is all fine. Yeah, I think this probably makes the most sense then. And then what's the last thing here? When we add an interact region to a node, we should make sure the parent is an interactable, interactable. Okay, yeah, I think this is probably pretty good. I should save this as a plan.cs. Yeah, it should be fine. Then getting the actual interactions to work, I think would be a little bit more difficult. But let's not worry about that yet. And then do I even want to do this, or do I want to just say to AI to go do this? I think this is a lot of mechanical stuff. I'm gonna use the rest of. So my quota resets today. Yeah, 2:18 p.m. today. So I mean, I might as well. Plus, like I said, I think it'll save me time. So let's go do this. So I want to add 3 interactable objects. Do you see any improvements you can make to my plan? Make the code/design cleaner. Okay. Want to add 3 interactable objects: treasure, spirit, treasure stand, and item display. All of these would have their own scripts, which would implement an interactable interface to the lootboxes game. I don't know why I'm typing this here. Just type this over here. RH. Lightweight what? All right, all these have their own scripts, which implement an interactable interface. This interface would have a single function, interact with, or interact. Public void interact. Lootbox player would, when the player presses the jump button, lootbox player would figure out the closest interactable. Wanted a raid, but gave an error twice. What was the error, Seshamar? And thank you for the thought. I don't. Yeah, I don't. The only setting I think you can even change. Well, I think there are two settings. And I don't check into VOD. Okay, yeah. Let me write that down for myself for later. The only settings I can even change is to disable raids entirely or to set a minimum, I think, view count. But yeah, thank you. I hope your stream went well. Hey, Mysterio. Welcome in. Hello, everybody. Hey, Flair. We are working on the loot box game today. And I hope that by the end of today, assuming I don't burn out in the middle of the day, I hope that by the end of today, we have kind of the basic gameplay loop, actually. Like, yeah. There's going to be some tough work in here. Twitch be twitching. Twitch do be twitching. All right, where did the rest of this plan go? Add 3 interactable objects to the loot boxes game. Treasure spirit, treasure stand, and item display. All these have their own scripts, which would implement... All of these scenes would have their own scripts, which would implement an interactable interface. The interface would have a single function, public void interact. When the player presses the jump button, would figure out the closest interactable. So it would do this like so. By calling get overlapping areas. And then sorting the result. If a nearby interactable, it would call the interact method on that. Thanks for doing the manual raid. Yeah, it says first time chat, but it should say raider. Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, like I said, I hope the stream went well. I think today, you know, I'm always hoping it will be a good day, of course, but I think today is going to be a little tougher than most days just because of how much stuff I did yesterday. And I was just going too hard. That's all. And I wasn't even on stream. The stream was totally fine. It was all the stuff I did afterward. And like, I don't know, little things like I had to call, the details aren't super important, but there's a business that we sent money to. And they were supposed to send us like a contract basically. And they're like, oh yeah, there's a problem with our online portal. So we're going to mail it to you. And I thought, if there's a problem with your online portal, why don't you just wait like 2 days and then try again, right? But so whatever, I wait, a week or something, and I don't see it in the mail. So I emailed them again. And I'm like, can you just email it to me? Like, is your portal working now? And they send me something saying, yeah, like they sent me not a contract. Like the contract is what I wanted. What they sent me was something like, send us the money and we'll send the contract. And I'm like, I already sent the money. Like, why are you doing this? So this took time. I had to then call them up and then they're like, okay, well, we triggered the email again. So you should get it in the next 2 days. And I thought, why does an email take 2 days to make it to me? Like, what kind of system is going on in the back end here that can't just send me an email and can't just send me physical mail? So I don't know how long this took. This was maybe like 20 minutes of yesterday, but it was annoying. And I still haven't gotten that email and I haven't gotten the mail yet. Like, I need this stupid contract. So, like, imagine that times, you know, maybe 5. There were all these little tasks that kind of added up, and it's just frustrating sometimes. The little postman has to bring it to your email box. Basic logistics, Adam. Hey, Jesta. Yeah. Actually, the woman on the phone was pretty nice. And she said, I'm sorry you had a problem with Mr. Mailman. And Mr. Mailman just reminds me of Arrested Development with Mr. Manager. Yeah. Red flags galore. Be prepared to just waste them. No, I like I said, I spared some details, but we've done business with this company now for a couple years and we haven't had a problem. And I don't think we'll have a problem now either, other than getting this email apparently. So yeah, once we have it, I think everything will just be fine. But yeah, it's just annoying. But they are kind of red flags. Like their tech stack is not great. It's called exit strategy. What do you mean? Oh wait, check. I just wrote check into VOD. They tried raiding, but it didn't go through. So see which error they encountered. This was around this time. All right, have I finished typing this in? I don't think I have yet, right? There would also be a node that we could add to each of this. Something like interact region.tscn. This would represent a collision area. This would be an area 2D with a, yeah, this would just be an area 2D with a script that ensures interact region was added to an I interactable. Yeah, let's just do this. I think this is fine. I don't even know if that's super clear, but this is what I would do myself. And I don't know. I want to use AI more in validating my plans and in doing mechanical changes. Like I can go code all this now. I think it'd work totally fine. But what if there's a better way? What if there's something I haven't thought of? So going back up to here, the player will interact with the thing by outlining them when they're close enough. Yeah, the outlining thing I had not done either. I need to do that. Yeah. Pressing an action key jump will trigger the action associated with it. So maybe we'll put that down as polish at the end. Loot boxes, polish. Indicate what you'll interact with when you're close by outlining that object. It probably means caching the closest interactable region when you move, or when interacting with something, or when interactables change near you, e.g. a customer buys an item. Also, what happens if you're changing the price of an item that a customer is buying? Maybe it's locked, maybe they can't buy it. They shouldn't be able to buy an item whose price you're changing. They could buy copies of that item at the old price. Yeah. Reading supply crate. Add interaction region area 2D to lootbox player. Have lootbox player call get overlapping areas on that. This is, I mean, this was kind of implied by what I was saying, because you can't call get overlapping areas without an area. Lootbox player itself is a character body. Query area should be an explicit child node. Okay, I guess that is technically a thing because of character body 2D probably having the same signals. I'd also make interact region the adapter the player understands. Get parent as interactable. Then the player only does interaction region min by distance interactable. The interactable has to exist. I see. Yeah. Yeah, this is decent. I mean, this is going to end up calling something on pretty much every time you press the interact key. Maybe that's fine. Oh, no, wait, but we're going to have to highlight it eventually. That'll make it so that we're doing this on every single time, and then Link is going to allocate. Also, get overlapping areas is kind of a crazy call. So I would need to cache this somehow. Hey, Method, hey, Cuddlefish. I trust you more than I trust the computer, if it helps. The things that I'll propose, I think it can come up with improvements a decent amount of the time. In this case, I don't see any other thing yet, but there's more that I haven't read. Keep loot boxes local for now. Probably interactable unless another subgame immediately needs it. Define the interface as void interact. Implementation still use that. Sure. Put object interaction areas on game specific and set the player core area mask to that layer. Yep. Prefer min by over sorting the full overlap list. Yeah. If an object becomes temporarily unavailable, disable its interact region. Keep it strict about being a direct child of the interactable scene root. Yep. Okay. Might not think of something. Yeah. I mean, I just sort of generally disagree with the sentiment. The I might not think of something is definitely true, right? Like, I don't think we pick the best solutions every time. And I think that just by asking another person or an AI or even just Google, like, hey, is there a better way of doing things? I think you'll often find there is a better way of doing things, or simpler way, or just that the idea you're pursuing in the first place is even what's the best idea. Oh, I was trying to be supportive. Okay, sorry. I thought you were saying the opposite of what I was saying, of like, you shouldn't even bother asking the AI because you'll do a better job. All right, my bad. I misunderstood. For any of these. Okay, so the indicating with an outline, this we did in Skeleseller with an outline shader. And I think we use this on treasure chests as well. I don't remember. Yes, we did. Yeah. Okay, so implement your modified version of the plan. Also, as the player walks around, it should outline the nearest interactable object. This can be a simple shader for now. I wonder if we shouldn't even use a shader. Like, what if the best way is actually just increase the size of the sprite that we're rendering and paint it totally white, and like that would form our outline? Yeah, I'll just do this for now. Magnus, thanks for the resub. Happy 7 months. Now, the question is, why did I not hear that? Let me change this and see if that helps. Okay, each chest should have a price with no other information. So which one of these do we want to start with? I guess you can't open treasure chests if you can't buy them in the first place. Yeah, so maybe we allow buying treasure chests, but we need the treasure stands. Alternatively, we could just put items onto item stands. Hey, Phil. I just resubbed really quietly. So it must be June 24th, right? Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right, do we even have treasure stands in the game? I added item display. I did not add treasure stands. And at some point, we got to lay this out correctly, too. So yeah, I think we need to add in a treasure stand and the treasure spirit. So let's go get the treasure spirit graphics. Where are those? Game, assets, characters, treasure spirit. Yeah, here we go. All right, they just have a blinking animation. So let's go paste this over to the game. Sprites, characters, loot boxes, treasure spirit. Okay, so we add in the treasure spirit. So I want to add them as a scene, and have the blinking animation be pulled in from the code. No, the scene. Treasure? Where are you? What are you called? Maybe town? Yeah, here it is. Treasure. Well, there's no treasure spirit in there. FFI spirit. .tscn. Hey, there it is. NPCs. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So treasure spirit is a stationary, static object 2D, I guess. Interactable, has an animated sprite that should use the animation data from here. I put treasure spirit somewhere. Here it is. Into the assets folder. That's how I've been using AI for my personal projects. I'll throw something together that works and then give it to AI to actually make it good. Then it triples my script size and I wonder if the quality code is worth. Yeah, I think AI can make things worse sometimes. So I do think the review process is still necessary. I think there are some times where it doesn't really matter what the quality is as long as something is good enough. So for example, I talk about this tool that I made for modifying the title and description of my streams. But like, this is probably not the best code. I don't know. I didn't even look at it really because it's working. It's doing what I need. And if I ever needed to make changes and that became unwieldy, then I would fix things. I think it's easier to have broken code if it's customer facing, have that matter. I mean, like maybe it's not performant, maybe it doesn't do what it should, maybe it causes bugs. And that's where I think the review process is more important. Yeah. I develop a key. That custom stream title thing go off just the stream key. What do you mean exactly? Like the way that this works is you connect it via OAuth to the different platforms, and then it calls APIs that will set the title and description. So your stream key is separate from the OAuth APIs that they have. If all you had is a stream key, I don't think it'd be sufficient to do that. So to be logged in. Yeah. But my point was more along the lines of like, this tool is functional. I didn't really have to do anything for it. I just gave it a couple of prompts and then improved things as we went and added features. Like I wanted to change playlists at some point, so I put in this playlist thing here. But yeah, that's been pretty nice. Biggest flaw since AI became a part of my workflow. You can just create just about any system. I have an itching feeling in the back of my head saying, could AI do this better? Yeah, I think, see, this is... The way I look at this is if you just consider like a subset of coding that you do, and that subset is boilerplate code, it's like pretty much since computer science became a thing, people were trying to reduce boilerplate that you might add, and in different ways, right? Your IDE might have a way of like, oh, create a function for this. And all it might do is type out public void foo with some parameters for you. And then that's it, right? Like, oh, it saved you some typing. So even if you just consider boilerplate and mechanical stuff, it's like, I don't think humans are most efficient at doing this. And I think it depends on the level of boilerplate you need. If you were like, make me an entire application, yeah, maybe that's different from just make me a function. But either way, I look at this as like autocomplete. When you're typing to your friend, like, what are you doing today? You're not typing every single one of these characters. This is what? Yeah, this is 25 characters. No one types 25 characters when they're typing this sentence, right? Like you type like WH and then it just auto-completes with the rest of this pretty much. And that's kind of how I look at the AI code for some things. Like it's mechanical, it's easy, and you're not going to type it faster than a computer will. You do? Wait, really? Really? Do you use any sort of autocomplete? This is quite the surprise to me. Because I've seen several friends typing. Never use autocomplete on phone. Wow. Have you used any OCR functions or programs? Yeah, I've been using this screenshotting program called Shotter. And it's got OCR built in. So like if I take a picture of this text and then just run the OCR, it's not going to do a perfect job. But like, yeah, I typed out a lot of the text. No grammar or anything either. Wow. I'm surprised. Okay, there is one exception, I guess, to what I said, which is I think if people type frequently in different languages, then they tend to turn it off. So that might be true for you, Magnus. I don't know if that's true for cuttlefish. But yeah, wow. This is still working. Although this isn't what was I planning over here? Yeah, this treasure spirit. Animated sprite that should use the animation data from that. And then what do we want to do? I guess interacting with it should just print something for now. Interacting with it should just print something like hello world for now. I'll fill that in later. All right. How we doing on this? Oh, wow. One oddity appeared after the Godot load. 2 untracked files. Temporary customer sprite fallback? What? Sure, whatever. Think about using Google Vision OCR for like reading a box score. But I'm also thinking of connecting it to Gemini Flash and making it a JSON to put into a PostgreSQL table. What is, I don't know what a box score is. Hang on, let me look this up. I see. Okay, yeah. This is how little I pay attention to sports. Yeah, I think something like that could be interesting. I'm a little like, okay, so when I think about this as an overall project, I don't know what your goals are exactly, but I would assume that this data is just available online such that you don't need to do any OCR. But yeah, if you're in a, I don't know what, like a, I don't know where these come from, but if you're in the place where you get this on a sheet of paper and you need to take out your phone and like take a picture and run it through something, yeah, that could be good. Might be worth saving the pictures themselves too in the database so you have the source in case you ever need to update something. Drummed intermediate, if you want to get good and consistent in something, taking shortcuts doesn't help you. You just get good at taking shortcuts. I think that's generally applicable for learning something. When it comes to doing something, I mean, if you think about it, like, we don't boil water the same way we used to. We don't do laundry the same way we used to. And you could argue that those are shortcuts, but like those kind of just strictly make your life better in the modern day, right? I think of autocomplete as being in that vein. All right, so this is done now. Let's see what it did. So item display now has the interact region and yep, the script on that thing. Good. Loot boxes added in treasure object, treasure stand, treasure spirit. It's fine. We probably want to Y sort those differently. Outline interact region. This is inside of lootbox player, yeah. All right, that I want to look at a little bit more closely. Let's just load this one up here. Interact region. This I'd probably add through the scene. Like, I don't think this is worth doing here. Physics process. Update outline interact region. If you press jump, then interact. That's reasonable. And then update this again after moving. I don't think we need to do this twice. The other thing too is this is probably not a great function here, right? Oh no, it does cache this. So what sets this? Here. We pass in the interact region. Get closest. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. This is not great to keep calling repeatedly. So definitely not 2 times per function. And you can't move that quickly, so we should just pick one of these, I guess. Yeah, maybe that. Or maybe here. Okay. The data is coming from a video game box score that's in a Discord text channel. Players post it in Discord as a ping or JPEG. I want to be able to automatically get those stats in a database. Yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I guess you could make a bot that just immediately responds with the same data but in text form. And if you run the server, you could actually have it delete their message and just have it keep the text. Although I don't know if I would bother putting in that level of effort. I'm still learning to get fast at the new keyboard. Autocomplete isn't a friend. Oh, you switch keyboards on your phone too? Oh, I stuck with QWERTY on my phone. And I always thought, like, is this a dumb idea? Should I switch? Should I switch everywhere? But I just have it in my muscle memory now. I want to relearn how to type there too. Okay, what else do we have here? So this, I'd like to not have happen every single frame. But this is a tricky, anything you do with caching is always kind of tricky because it's like, well, there might be more times you need to update the cache than there are times you'd have cache hits. And which one's more or less performant? Hey, Tobias. Add the reaction, let them know the stats are implemented like the human would. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it sounds like a cool little project. Yeah. Yeah, the OCR I've needed to do is just for the one-off, like, oh, there's an error message on screen, but it's not copy-pastable, so I OCR the text. Hey, Miff. Thanks for the localization video. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah. Yeah, I put a lot of effort into that. And I did a lot of it on stream, too. Originally, I made the outline, and then I made the slides, and then I had to, like, make the demos afterward. That wasn't on stream. And then I recorded everything. So all said, that video probably took, I'm just going to ballpark it, like 15 hours to make. And I've mentioned this before. I don't really care too much about the view counts of these videos. Like, that video is going to get maybe 200, 300 views or something. It's not there to make money. It's there to help people. So I hope it does help people. I hope it reaches people for that reason. But I posted on Reddit about it. I thought this is kind of funny. So my last couple of posts that I made on Reddit, I actually commented here, like, my last post here was downvoted to 0, and I'm just trying to share what I learned, not latently market a product. And then this post got downvoted to 0. So it's just kind of funny about the game dev subreddit. I think there are certain meta topics that do well, and anything that is, I don't know, outside of that meta is like, well, people just don't like it. But, like, I honestly do think this is helpful, and I think a lot of game devs could benefit from this. And sure, some people are just doing this as a hobby and won't ever localize a game. Okay, but it's still good information to know. Do you think OCR would be more efficient than AI in that scenario? I mean, what AI would be doing is OCR. Like, the act of converting a picture version of text into a text version of text is OCR, whether it's, you know, a large language model or something else. In fact, a large language model is probably just going to run an OCR tool to do it. And you could just run that tool yourself. So I don't really think it's more efficient or not. I just think it's like, what tool is that thing using? Now, they might have an OCR like sub model that they're farming the task out to so that it is kind of LLM based. And based from that, I would just say you have a certain corpus of text and you can read the text. So you could technically evaluate how good of a job any particular tool / AI does. So, you know, if you have something that says hello world and it transcribes it as hello world, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's a bad job. It's not too far. Like, a human can still read this, but it's clearly not the original text. So yeah, I don't think you'd want to do this on a very large scale. Maybe like you test it with 25 in, you know, tool A and 25 in tool B, and you see which one did a better job. Because even this OCR thing that I use, and we didn't really test this too much here, but like, okay, let's try this right now. I'm going to run the OCR in Shotter, and we're just going to copy paste it. And it got that just fine, that just fine. This is all good, this is good. And then this did not get the zeros. So it transcribed these as O's. Which, if this were handwritten, yeah, you would assume that they're O's. So it's probably got some smarts to it. But it clearly didn't get the exact text. Bought a new watch yesterday. It doesn't have the watch face I love from the previous watch. Started hacking together a new watch face. It's both fun. And yeah, this is how Garmin. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, it's crazy. I saw a Hacker News post about mechanical watches and just how complex they are. Where's that blog post explaining that? Yeah, this, if you haven't seen this, I mean, this is probably only vaguely related to what you're talking about here, but still, this is an amazing post to explain how all of this works. And they have all these interactive diagrams here that you can see, like, okay, there are all the parts. And they go through and they explain, like, here's how everything works. And it was a pretty interesting read. It's quite long. It does a good job of breaking things down. JSON might be easier to translate into a PostgreSQL table. Oh, I see what you're saying. I guess it depends on the structure of the data to begin with. Like, you might not need an intermediate format. You might be able to just parse the resulting text. But like I said, I think this is one of those cases where it's like, for you to verify as a human that it did what it should do is bulletproof. There's like, well, unless you can't read, I guess. But like, if you could read this source text and you run it through your tool and it puts it in the database as, you know, whatever, score 1, score 2, score 3, person, I don't know, date or something, and it got all these correct, then you're like, okay, cool, it's doing a good job. Now, will it consistently do a good job? Yeah, that could potentially be a question. But at least you could validate any individual one of these very easily. Yeah, those diagrams are awesome. This is a pretty solid blog post. All right, so what else do we have here? This is in the player. We added an interact region. That's good. This is fine. Yep, this is what I would have done. We have a simple shader here. I don't know if this is going to be a good job. We'll check it out. And then we have interact region. Suggested name is different. Sure. Sets a collision mask. We set that to game specific afterward. If we set this to a number, doesn't it not need to be set to 0 originally? Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think so, at least. Oh, no, we're enabling it for a specific flag. So never mind. We do need to do that. It's a bit mask. All right, exit tree, set outline, get outline shader, find outline target. What is this for? Yeah, that's probably okay for now. All right, let's keep going. That's fine. That's fine. Did this animate this? Oh, it did. It doesn't know about the timings, though. That's fine, too. And what is this? The treasure stand itself. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, let's run this and just see how it works. Yeah, I think you'll like it, Cuttlefish. Like I said, it's probably different from what you're working on, but it sounds like another cool project. She's going to be like 1,500 games, maybe all together, if not more. So I'm trying to scale it down a lot of data. Yeah. No, to be clear, what I'm saying is whether you had 1,500 or 15 million, I'm not saying to validate all of those. I'm saying like validate literally just 15 maybe and see, okay, is it doing a pretty good job? Because yeah, I think pretty much every OCR is going to be subject to some amount of like, well, this character is a little bit smudged or something. Like, what should we interpret it as? Like, imagine if I just drew something like this. Like, let's say I wrote really hastily here. So I wrote the word school, or at least I tried to, but I intentionally made it bad. Like this character, you'd be like, is that a U? This you can kind of see as an H. This one looks, I don't know, almost like a backwards A, I guess. And this looks kind of like a D. So yeah, this would involve a lot of interpretation. In some programs we get it right and some wouldn't. Dealing with converting an old unstructured data set stored in PDFs into actual structured data. How does it handle numbers? Most of the stats on a box score are numbers. I mean, I think it handles them pretty much the same way the letters are handled. And like I said, I think there needs to be some smarts. So like when I wrote out hello with a 0 and world with a 0, because these are around other letters, it was like, oh, these must be O's. But if I had written out something like this, and I OCR'd this thing, it got the exact same number. So like, I think if it can tell that this is mostly numerical data, it'll treat it as numbers. I think where it would be difficult is if you wrote like LOL 101, LOL 101, and then said to transcribe this or OCR this. And here it did a good job. If we smashed them all together, it might not. Who knows? But yeah, just test stuff out, I'd say. All right, so what do we have here? So if I, oh, nice. Wow. That's pretty cool. Although why? There's just like a, oh, that must be the treasure stand. Yeah, that's the treasure stand. We got to give the graphics for those in the game. And I should be able to interact with these. Let's go try it out. So I tap this one. No, nothing's happening. Huh, strange. That code was in there. I changed how it worked though. Where is that? Here. So if I put a breakpoint there, we're calling into this. This is set. The interactable is set. And then we call interact. Yeah, what? Why didn't it print? Oh, it did print out. It just printed out to here. I forgot I ran it through. Okay, never mind. That was stupid. Yeah, so if I just hit play and go to console, yeah, there it is. Okay, my bad. I was looking inside of Godot for that. All right, so let's try this out over here now. So if I press the button, that's working fine. Press the button over here, that's working fine. Press the button over here, that's working. And now if I'm between the two of them, it's always going to be the highlighted one, right? Yeah, nice. Wow, cool. Now it's highlighting this one a little bit strangely. There's like a notch at the top. I'm guessing it can't do a nearest neighbor calculation or something. The outline shader is weird. Yeah, I could change this to just use the shader that I had in Skeleseller. I think it should be fine. But yeah, this is pretty good. We probably wanted to highlight the item though that's on top of this, not the display itself. We also need this to have collision. Just trying to think if there's anything else I would do for that. Yeah, I think we need to change that at some point. Where did I write this down? Yeah, here it is. That's not it. Loot boxes, clean up, polish. Yep. So improve how we outline objects. We should, for an item display or a treasure stand, we should outline the thing on the display slash stand, not the display slash stand itself. And yeah, that's probably pretty good. Yeah, I think shaders are a little bit tough if you haven't used them a lot, because each individual line you can figure out what it's doing, but that's rarely enough to know how that contributes to the overall effect. So it's like if I just wrote out some math here, right? Like x equals 1, x plus equal 5, x times equal 10. It's like, okay, you can read these lines. You can even figure out what x is at any given time. But then to figure out like what equation is this part of? Like, why do we do any of this? That might not be obvious to you. And that's kind of how I feel about shader code sometimes. It's like, okay, I know what any individual line does, but then why did we do it this way? And debugging shaders isn't usually the easiest thing. Godot just added a way for you to, where is it? They just added it. Maybe if I look at the 4.7 thing. Is it this? Inline previews of text-based shader operations. Yeah. I think it was this. Yeah. So they added this way for you to click the eyeball button over here, and you can see inside the shader what your output looks like at the time. So this is pretty cool, but this is not like debugging regularly works, because it's all happening on the GPU. And maybe there's some tooling that'll help with that stuff, but a lot of times people like write a debugger inside their shader to print out what values are. All right, so I think this is probably good enough for now. Back, what am I doing? I'm working on the loot box game still. We need to make it so you can interact with the different items and kind of characters in here. So like when you talk to the treasure spirit, you'll be able to buy treasure chests, which will then go onto your item displays or your treasure stands. And then you can open them and they'll turn into loot that will go onto your item displays. So it's going to look a lot like Skeleseller. I was actually debating on what should I do for the music for this. And I think maybe we should just pull 3 tracks from Skeleseller and just play those. It might be better than composing custom music for this. Figure out if I should compose something or just take 3 tracks, 2 to 3 tracks from Skeleseller and loop them. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I did yesterday. I worked on the top-down shooter music. I got the basic structure done. So that took me a decent amount of time. But I'm pretty happy with it. I think there's some changes we need to make. All right, let's look through this. Player starts with 3 goals. Does that mean they can get 4G, 5G, and LTE? Yes, it does. When they get near a cell tower. All right, now what is this doing here? If area is not interact region, then continue. Honestly, the collision should make it so they're only interact regions. Closest region. Okay, yeah. This is, I guess, as good as we can get. There are a couple of small problems here. Just calling this every frame is not great. But whatever. We'll see if there's an actual issue. All right, then we have these other things here. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, I don't like this shader. We'll replace that. If I haven't already written that down, let me write that down. Use the Skeleseller shader for outlining. This one has some oddities. Maybe it's caused by not, what is it? Pruning, trimming? What do we call this? Cropping the sprites that we use. Since that's what we did in Skeleseller. Okay. Turn a canvas item. If all we care about at the end of this is that we're getting the right target and it's got to be a canvas item, then why are we doing things this way? Why don't we just say if it's sprite 2D or animated sprite 2D, return child? Well, cast it to a canvas item, I guess. But yeah, that looks a little bit cleaner. And find this with the root. This is impossible for this to be null. Yeah, there's some like little things this does that are always a little bit weird. Yeah. Right, because get parent has to exist in ready at least. And we check it right here anyway, so we know for sure it has to exist. This is where I don't feel like Codex is very smart about how it does things sometimes. It's like it could realize that that was unnecessary. Also, we're iterating over this twice. I guess first we're checking for a sprite or an animated sprite. And if that doesn't exist, we're trying it again a level lower. I think that's fine. All right, the rest of this is fine for now, at least. All right, so let's do this. So add interactions. This is largely AI written, but I had come up with the overall strategy that we'd use. Interacting just prints something to standard out for now. Yeah. All right, I'm going to take a break, and when we come back, we will keep working through this. Yeah. Okay, cool. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Let's go, FP. Hey, Matt. Hey, Magyar. Hello, hello. Close the game. Okay. So, treasure spirit. Each chest should have a price and no other information. So this is in the dialogue that we make, right? Purchasing should show floating text saying minus 10G, even though it doesn't take any money. Make sure choosing an option doesn't cause you to interact with anything in the world. All right, so we got to change that treasure spirit around a little bit. It's really just the animation that I want to change, which let's just go copy from Skeleseller. A lot of this is going to be copied from Skeleseller. How's the mouse? What? Are you asking about the Swift Point one? Because that hasn't actually come out yet. I think I should get it in another month or something based on what they were saying. So yeah, I'm still using the G600, which I mean, it's fine, but it's not going to be fine forever. Oh, yeah. I was demoing the pressure in a video in the VOD. So it's not that I got the mouse. It's just that I was showing what the pressure thing was. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know for sure when that's going to be released. Have they said anything? When is it coming out? Well, I don't see any information here. Yeah, I think they... Oh, wait, here we go. June, July. Completion of initial production run. Shipping expected to commence. Yeah, so... maybe another month. The other thing I'm waiting on is my terminal that I'd gotten. This thing. And yeah, my position in the queue is still like 3,000 or something. So I don't know if that's going to arrive anytime soon. But I'm looking forward to that too. Two neat gadgets. All right, so I opened up Skeleseller. Let's go to the treasure spirit. And figure out... its blinking is, yeah, 48.2. And then 1.1 and it's 5 FPS. All right, so let's just set it to 48. Treasure spirit. Sprite. 48. There we go. So now here's its blinking animation. For 48 times the normal amount, it's on this frame. And then every once in a while it blinks. Watch it closely. Could happen any second now. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this is how we handle blinking. So this is done then. This is done. We just need the static object in there. I'll go check this in. Change blinking rate for treasure spirit. Keep people staring at the stream. Yep. I'll lower the time, or I'll make it longer so people have to watch for a very long time. Oh, by the way, I looked for Skeleseller this morning as I normally do, and I saw someone uploaded a video, and I was like, oh, who's this person? So I found them on, let me see. I found them on Twitch. Let me make sure this is muted. Well, they're streaming right now, and they have 1.3 million followers. There are 5,000 people watching right now. I don't know how many people were watching for their Skeleseller thing, but they played it for 3 hours and 42 minutes. So yeah, that's probably going to help. And the Steam summer sale starts tomorrow. So this is why localization is important. Someone with, 5,000 concurrent viewers wouldn't have streamed the game for several hours if it hadn't been in Spanish, I bet. So I started watching the video a little bit, but I had to watch it with captions, of course. And it's just, yeah, I didn't get very far. Giant diamond hearing is going. Oh, man. All right, so this is just a node 2D. This should be a static body 2D. I'll just change the type of this. Static body 2D. And then add in a collision shape. Does it really matter? I mean, it could just be the same shape that this thing has. Yeah, let's just set it to a circle and see what happens. Oh, wait, what? Why are there three? Yeah, what? Why are there three shapes? There are two circles. There's the inner circle. That's fine. There's the collision shape. That's... Where's the square coming from? Oh, this is a Godot bug. I don't like this. Yeah, so what's happening is we're seeing another scene here. If I close the other scenes, it will fix it. Yeah, that's been happening to me for a couple of different Godot versions. Wow, it's never confused me as badly as it just did then, though. All right, so there we go. That should do it. Or, well, no, that won't do it because I forgot to set the collision mask. Treasure Spirit. This is a wrong game. Collision. I guess consider it to be the world and have players and maybe customers, which I think I called enemies. Yeah, let's do that. Operation can't be done on the tree root. What? Huh, strange. All right, so now you can't walk into the treasure spirit. That's good. And customers can't either. I feel like you should be able to get maybe a little bit closer to them, though. You know what? I think a circle is just the wrong shape. I think it's a squat capsule. So like this and this and a little bit. Wait, what is going on here? There we go. I guess maybe a circle is the right shape. I just can't figure out the exact position this should be at. Yeah, I don't want them overlapping like this. That's the problem. Maybe it should just be boxier. Yeah, maybe I'll just make it a rectangle. There. And I just got to bring the bottom up a little bit. Yep. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I get stuck here now, but that's not going to be how the game is eventually. Okay, so move the whole thing up, I think. There. All right, pretty good. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Having a good time, having a good time. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had to have enjoyed it at least a little bit to keep playing beyond like an hour or two. So I'm glad. And I guess you can eventually see, like, did this have any impact if you search for Skeleseller here and go to this and go to charts. And yeah, you can see it's a peak of what, like 25 players, but since that video, it's gone up to 62. And then I assume in the summer sale, it's going to increase again because actually there haven't really been too many peaks. There have been some, these are probably sales and random people covering the game. All right, so all we did is modify the collision. By the way, I think this is how today is going to go. I'm going to just be kind of lazy and slow about things because I just want to make some progress today. So add collision to treasure spirit. All right, so all that's done. Now we need to make a dialogue that'll let you pick which treasure chest you want to buy. And there are a couple different ways we can do this. We should theme it like the Skeleseller dialogue. Theme it like the Skeleseller dialogue. So I was thinking, since you are going to have a controller, there should probably be some just like basic, which treasure chest would you like to buy? And it says like, here's the structure of the dialogue. So treasure spirit would be at the top. Which treasure chest would you like to buy? And the options are like wooden. What are the other ones? I wrote them down somewhere. Silver, gold, and gemmed. Maybe we should call it fancy. And then the prices would show up here too. So like, whatever, 2 gold, I think it was. 200 gold, 500 gold, 2,000 gold. Hey, Ollie. Howdy, howdy. All right, so this should pop up a dialogue. You won't have any other dialogues in the game, will you? I know, I guess you will for setting item prices. Oh, that one will look a little bit different. And we'll probably have their portrait in here too. So you're going to need to copy over quite a lot. And yeah, make sure controller input only goes to the dialogue so that you don't move around in the world or interact with something else. So this is not needed. And then you have purchasing it. It should show floating text saying minus 10G, minus XG, even though it doesn't actually take the money. And it should grant you the chest on a nearby treasure stand. On, well, just an empty one. Oh, I forgot about interacting with the perk board. Oh, man. How did I forget that? Yeah. Need to allow you to interact with the perk board. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right, so theme it like the Skeleseller dialogue. Let's go find that. Here's dialogue box. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Has a script as well. We probably don't need... We probably don't need everything that this allows us to do. But let's copy a little bit of this. Copy path. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to go make a new thing over here. So when interacting with treasure spirit, we need to allow the player to purchase a treasure chest. Or I guess just interacting with this should allow the player to purchase a treasure chest. Yeah. So it should spawn a dialogue when you interact with the treasure spirit. This dialogue should very closely resemble the structure of this. Oh, and there's got to be a close button as well, right? Yeah, it should say maybe later. And it should be obvious which thing you have selected. Alternatively, it could be that these are radio buttons essentially. And you are, well, I guess it can be radio buttons. And there could be a buy or a maybe later choice. I think just choosing one of these should purchase it. If you don't have enough money, render the money label in red. And then we need the gold icon. Where do we get that from? Assets, icons. I don't think it's here. UI. Coin. Here we go. Yeah. So I want that graphic. I'll just go copy it over here. Okay. So structure of this dialogue. Let's go take a look at it again. However, there should be only one button. How we doing on quota here? 78%. Okay. There should only be one button. That button should say maybe later and should close the dialogue without buying a chest. And there should be 4 options laid out vertically. Above that button. There we go. Instead of the G in the options above, use... Well, I should put it this way then, $. Use the animated coin graphic, coin.png. It will probably require a custom control so that the coin graphic can have a nearest texture filter, while the text will have a linear filter. And if you don't have enough money to afford the chest, then it should color the cost in red. Note that you may get enough money while the dialogue is open. Well, you may note that your money value may change while the dialogue is open, causing some options to become red or not. All right, what else do we have? Pressing the jump button on one of the chest types should simply print you bought X for Y money for right now. Yeah, so we need the treasure spirit portrait. Where's that? Where is that? Portraits? Ah, there. Yeah, there's the treasure spirit. I think we should probably just copy this one graphic. Yeah, that probably makes the most sense. All right, so we just take from here down to here. And there we go. And this should be a square, right? A 64 by 64. Okay, so export to here as... I mean, this is technically UI. We'll call this treasure spirit portrait. All right, good. And in here we had character portrait. For the character portrait in the dialogue scene, use treasure spirit portrait. Yeah. We do not need for this to be a generic. Well, actually, do we? I don't know. Yeah, there's gonna be a price setting dialogue at some point. Although that could look a little bit different. This dialogue will eventually be reused for some other interactions. However, we won't need a portrait for those interactions, so that part should be optional. Yeah, all right. Anything else we need to do for this? Oh, yes. Stopping your input from going anywhere else. While the dialogue is open, the player should not be controllable. That way they don't move around the world or start other interactions. They should still be animated during this time. I think that's it. Oh yeah, and it should say, which treasure chest would you like to buy? Above the chest you can buy, it should say, which treasure chest would you like to buy? All right, let's do that. And this I am a little bit curious about. What's our quota at now? 78 and 41. Before planning the dialogue with the treasure spirit. Yeah, this is part of what I was saying about me being a little bit lazy today. Although, I don't know. I'm just so torn on a lot of this. Like, I do think this has been a really good way to lay out the code quicker. And a lot of what I'm doing is planning the design of these games. And then it's like, look, I'm just gutting code from Skeleseller and putting it in this particular one because of how closely this represents or how closely it, what's the word I'm looking for here? Resembles, excuse me, Skeleseller. So like we're taking the graphics all from Skeleseller here. So what'll happen is you'll talk to this character, it'll pop up a dialogue, and it'll say which chest do you want to buy. You'll then pick a treasure chest or say you want to decide later. Then it'll make the treasure chest over here eventually. You'll be able to go over here and open it. It'll spawn a bunch of items. Customers will come and buy those items. This is all stuff that doing it by hand, I think would take me a very long time. And we're already talking multiple weeks per subgame here. And this particular subgame is one that you're supposed to spend a very, very small amount of time in. Oh, hey, we can get stuck. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I don't think there's any way out of this now. We won't put things that close together. All right, so my unversioned files here are just the graphics that we added, right? Yeah. This should open the chest given the current luck meter. Yeah, so then we're going to have to make that system too. I think this is pretty neat, though. It's nice seeing things come together. All right, we should probably plan the next thing. So this is the part we'd have to do after this. Yeah, and this stuff should be done. So I will color this like gray for now. So purchasing should show floating text. Let's go find the floating text. Oh, is this done? For this first treasure spirit dialogue pass, where should the loot box's money value live? Yeah, that's fine. What should happen if the player presses jump or accept on a chest whose red cost is unaffordable? Still print, block purchase. What does it say? Keep the row selectable or focusable. Pressing it does nothing or plays denied feedback. Yeah, I should play a bonk sound at some point, which we're going to have to write. Clean up, polish. Trying to buy a chest that you can't afford should play a bonk sound. Okay. Decided not to use AI for first game to learn the dev ropes, except to explain stuff. On second game, I'll try AI too. Yeah, my AI usage in Skeleseller was almost entirely just autocomplete for lines of code. And I look at the velocity at which I was developing then versus now, and this is just, there are two main things I think that I've noticed. One is, this is way faster to do things that I can clearly envision in my head. And two is the inertia behind making small changes is lower. So there were a lot of issues in Skeleseller that I just thought they're not severe. If they were severe issues, I'd fix them. But they were small and maybe like paper cut territory. They're not too bad. Some players don't even notice. Some players notice, but they're like, oh, there's a different way of doing things. I would have probably tackled those if I were using more agentic coding. Because the simplest thing you could do is say, like, go fix this. And if AI does a great job and whatever, it just works the first time, it costs you almost nothing. And like, okay, now it's just fixed. Now, of course, there's the need to understand what you've done. Has it impacted some other realm of your game? That's going to cause a problem. But a lot of times things are just self-contained. It's like, oh, hey, this button should light up when you hover over it. And like, I just didn't do that in Skeleseller because I would have needed to modify the shader that I had. And I never spent the time. Excuse me, but a paper cut is the worse than losing your hand. Life's faded. Paper cuts are pretty unfortunate. Strongly suggest an animation strip. Taking a quick visual look only to avoid baking the wrong frame geometry into the plan. Yeah, this is all going pretty well. All right, so yeah, purchasing. So floating text is what I was going to go look into next. We have the floating text scene, and I wanted to mimic this if we can. It's literally just a node and a label. This is because this was in world space. I think we still want this stuff to be in world space. This had a relatively complex script for what it needed to do. Well, and Skeleseller needed to do a lot. And this was all human written code. So in our case, what is this? This will create a floating text that's intended to be added in screen space and canvas layer, but it gets positioned and sized according to a camera. When text is in the world itself, you almost certainly want to use this function. The only time you may not is if the camera never changes position or zoom, in which case, use this. Yeah, interesting. So I guess we want to do this. Unlikely to get a paper cut anymore with no hand. Actually, I wonder if just the number of paper cuts, it must have gone down overall, right, in the last 20 years. Like, I don't even really handle paper very much anymore unless I'm opening up mail. But I'm not like writing things anymore. All right, what do we got here? Treasure Spirit chest purchase dialogue. Add a reusable loot boxes dialogue scene modeled after Skeleseller's dialogue box. Optional portrait, prompt text, custom content area, and one dismiss button labeled maybe later. Wire Treasure Spirit interact to open the dialogue through loot boxes route. So the route owns UI creation, wallet state, and player input locking. Show 4 vertical chest options. Yep, wooden, silver, gold, gemmed. And the animated coin icon plus cost. Unaffordable cost, turn red live. While the dialogue is open, lock player movement. Sounds good. So add a small in-memory loot boxes wallet. Money change, can afford, set money, default starting money. Actually, I don't want to set the money eventually, but that's fine. This is all fine too. Add set control locked bool. When locked, it clears the outline interactable. Prevents movement. Clearing the outline interactable isn't necessary, I guess. But this stuff's necessary. Keeps this running. Does not pause animated sprite. Add interactive event. Interact raises the event instead of directly creating UI. Keep it interactable and unchanged. Sounds good. Hey, Scholar. Happy Wednesday. Oh, man. I was saying, Scholar, that yesterday I just did too much between work and personal stuff. And there's just too much going on. So we're taking it pretty easy today. And it's going well so far. I feel like we're still making progress here. Don't really handle paper outside of my notebooks anymore, but I still write. Refuse to give up my fountain pen and inks. Yeah, but that's a very tactile experience, and fountain pens are pretty unique. So that's different from just the average, like grab a ballpoint pen and write some like scribbled note on a sheet of, or like a post-it note or something. It sounds like you take some joy in writing. And I like writing in terms of, let's say, writing a book or writing a story. I don't like writing in terms of using my hand to draw on a sheet of paper. It's something I was also never good at. Like, even when I was writing every single day, my handwriting sucks. It's just not great. All right, add reusable scene under here with configure, prompt, portrait, text or null, dismiss, audio system, optional portrait, custom content creator, container, a button, Bound with existing button sounds. Do we really have this? Oh, we do. Well, would you look at that? Focus trapping across custom rows plus dismiss button, jump in UI accept activation, add treasure chest option row and animated coin. Uses this, loops to 8 FPS. Text labels use linear filtering. Cost is red. And it uses nearest. Nice. Yeah, cool. On affordable row activation, print exactly this. Then close the dialog, unlock the player. Don't deduct money yet. On unaffordable row, do not print and don't close. Play denied UI feedback if audio system is available. Maybe later closes. Yeah, this sounds great. All right, let's try this out. I want to see what the usage is. So now it's 70 and 39. My weeks have felt like that this summer. Coaching kids baseball, work, birthday parties. Yesterday at work was a good day, though. Hope your day's easy today. Yeah, and the way I always, if I were talking to someone and I'm concerned about them and they say that they've been super busy lately, I always kind of ask, are you good busy or are you bad busy? Because good busy is the kind of stuff you're mentioning, right? Like coaching baseball, birthday parties. They're not like, hey, I don't know, I'm like meandering through life and work is slamming me with 60 hours a week and what's going on. Yeah, that's bad busy. I have been good busy lately. It's just every once in a while it gets to be a little overwhelming. And I think, I've been saying the word overwhelmed a little bit much lately. I wonder if it's just pointing to needing more of a vacation. I've got some plans coming up next week, which are not a vacation, but will probably result in me not being able to stream as much. And yeah, I think I need to take a proper vacation. I almost wonder if I should just take next week off or something. I don't know. Part of me just wants to develop even while I'm doing that. I think just the stream's going to change a bit. Yeah. Especially with AI. During university, I always learned from other people's notes, not mine. Said I would explain the topic if it wasn't clear to the person, win-win. Yeah, it sounds like a good symbiosis. Had to be Dr. Doolittle this morning with a baby magpie. Rushed to the vet, made it home for the midweek stand-up. Aw, how nice of you. That's very relatable. Yeah, I think we all probably have signs of what is our burnout or what is our need for vacation. And if you pay attention to them, you'll notice some patterns in your own behavior. And for me, what happens is it sneaks up on me pretty quickly, or at least it always seems like it does. But maybe it isn't sneaking up and maybe I'm just ignoring the signs. But yeah, today's been pretty chill so far. And like I said, I'm mostly just using AIs for today. This is the other aspect that I kind of want to talk about at some point is what is this stream if I'm mostly using AI? And at least at a time like now I am. And like I said, part of it is I want to take it chill, but I think I don't like the idea of, if I were to do all this stuff, it would take 2 hours. And then at the end of today, I'd have a dialogue and I'd be like, okay, now tomorrow I'll work on the purchasing from that dialogue. Whereas if I ask AI, it's like I've got it in 10 minutes and then I can move on to the next feature. It's changing everything. Been feeling like there's so much to do lately. Yeah. And I think summer is always a bit unusual compared to the other seasons. It's like if you have kids and your kids have the time off, if you don't have kids and it's like a lot of people do something when the weather is nice. So maybe that involves more travel. Maybe that means your friends aren't around. So now you start focusing on other things. I feel like for a long time, our friends just sort of disappeared during the summer because they would all travel with their friends or family or kids. Your reaction to the code it provides, but if that was every stream, that'd definitely run out eventually. Yeah, and I could pipeline some of this. I could start focusing on this now too. I think part of it for me is figuring out, is it even worth doing this stuff by hand? Where should I be applying handwritten code? And I think it comes down to if there's a quality difference, because there's certainly a time difference. I'll just leave this open over here. I don't have notifications play while I'm streaming. Anyway, let's see. If we kept going at this pace, we would get purchasing done. Treasure stand. I wanted to be able to open the chest, which I guess means we need item stands and then items fly to it. Yeah, so we could probably get We could probably get a lot of that stuff done too. We could probably even get the customer thing. Yeah, I bet if I just keep going at this pace, we could get all this stuff done by the end of today. That's a decent chunk of the to-do list. Then we just have upgrades and the UI and leaving, walking through a portal. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be making so many sub games. I think getting through this boilerplate is a good thing. Adam learns, no AI, sign petition. I think if there were learning to be had here, I think it'd still be fun to do. And a lot of the localization stuff, I still had to like think through problems. I guess that's a difference. That's where I want to apply my own thought a lot of the time. It's like I want to think through a problem and have an idea for how to solve it and then involve AI. And not say, AI, here's the problem, just you figure out how to solve it. Unless that problem is something like really minor. I mentioned that I recorded a devlog yesterday. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I should do that and make it public. I don't think anyone cares about my devlogs. I do though. All right, let's go take a look at this. So yeah, we have this text here. We have the label. I still want to use this style, but I think I want to show a coin instead. The G should be the animated coin. Use it to generate an SVG map diagram to show project-specific terminology for various things. Shockingly good at it. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely changing the landscape. All right, this thing is almost done. It's just running some builds and tests. Grant you the chest on an empty treasure stand. So we need a way of unlocking different treasure stands, and I probably should pick where they go. Like, we need to lay this out a little bit. I think there should be treasure spirit, perk board, all the treasure stands, and then like a whole bunch of item displays. One of the ones on my team using it a lot. I'm at 46 out of $50 for the month. Had to create tests the other day, and it created tests for view components. My mentor called me out as that was new to him. It was embarrassing to explain. I also had no idea we could do that as an FDR. I think there's something to be said for just like detecting blind spots. Like, what's the thing we didn't know, didn't realize could be done? And this happened a ton. I feel like the stream was that for me for like 8 years or something. From 2015 to 2020, when I was working on Botland, how many times did it happen? And I don't have a record off the top of my head where I was like, oh, I want to solve the problem this way. And someone else is like, well, have you heard of this library? I was like, no, I have not. And oh my God, it totally solved it. And even with Skeleseller, like I don't remember who told me about Weblate or if it was a Google search or something, but this saved me a ton of time. We didn't make this. All I did is find out it existed and then used it. But like, I only did so much research. So yeah, nowadays I think it'd just be like, hey, go do the research for me. All right, how do I have AI not ask me this question? Do you want to make these changes? I put into my agents MD that like when validating Godot changes using .gd files, you have permission to create them in a temporary directory and then edit those scripts. There's no need to ask for this permission. It's going to ask me anyway, I guess. Can actually share that, only public facing info in it. It's an overview report query with relevant standardized terminology. Wait, but the AI didn't put any of this in English. Other than port terminology. Is that a seagull? Did you tell us to do that? Because that's kind of hilarious, right? Yeah, this looks pretty good. Hey, Monster, long-term follower here. Love the fact you mentioned Botland. I was there for the whole development. You helped me get through a rough breakup. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's good to hear. Seagull is my work? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I learned a ton doing Botland. I learned a ton doing Skeleseller. I'm sure I'm going to learn a ton doing this game, even if it's using AI for a lot of the development. And I'm still excited to see all this come together. I think Quickie Joe is going to start working on some of the game graphics soon. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Because one of the things, I've shown this off the other day, but this tool, I just think this is so cool. And it's not that crazy. Other games let you do this stuff, but the idea that you can customize your characters, I just added a randomized colors thing in here too. So yeah, imagine this on your character creation screen. I mean, not all of these combos look great. And maybe we should have randomized for individual components. But still, it's neat to be able to change this and see how it impacts the character. And then you'll have your own character for this. 7 years ago. Yeah. He killed Jack. Having set up with animations too as well. Yeah. Hey, Verani. Bet you already answered this. I got to check your notes. I wonder, how do you find using AI for development? P.S. I'm also here since Spotland days. Yeah, so AI for development, I've kind of talked about it a bit. I think the biggest differences are there are low priority tasks that I would otherwise have dropped, but can now do easily. And there's a lot of mechanical work that's been totally cut out. So lots of things like, okay, we have an animated sprite 2D and we have a graphic. Now go like make 10 animations out of it. To be clear, this is not artwork that I'm having it do. It's just this basically. You've got an animation thing and you need to fill in all of these. And the way you do this as a human is you do it through Godot and you'd be like, okay, let's pick that graphic and then have it save for this time and then pick that graphic and have it save for this time and then blah, blah, blah. It's like, I just don't have to do that stuff anymore. Okay, so this finished. What did it say? It took 10 minutes. Added reusable loot boxes, UI, scenes and scripts for the dialogue, chest option rows, animated coin icon, wired interact through loot boxes with root owned money state and live affordability updates. Added player control locking, added UI layer. Oh, nice. And purchase rows now, print, you bought this. Yeah, let's try it out. See how it works. Have you used AI for your notes at all? No, I haven't. Yeah, that I have not done yet. Oh, wow, this looks great. Yeah, I didn't use the actual theming, which I needed to do. And pressing maybe later. I'm not sure if it's working. Yeah, it is working, but it's spawning the dialogue again immediately. So there are a couple of functional changes. So the theme is wrong. It should use the same theme from Skeleseller. Choosing maybe later using the jump button. Both closes and then immediately reopens the dialogue. Thought to build some simple games for myself, not caring about quality of the code. As long as it works, it's okay. Because I want to dabble with game dev, but I neither have time nor energy to do it properly after my work. Yeah, I think AI helps a lot with that. Although I think for some game dev stuff, it's still worth learning how it's working. But yeah, you could totally say like, oh, make me a game that does this, this, and this, and you'll have something basic out of it. There are a lot of YouTubers who, for one reason or another, are covering what can Claude do when it tries to one-shot a game. And sometimes you kind of laugh at the output, but like even the laughable output is still a playable game a lot of the times. And sure, the sound effects may be weird or the graphics may be weird, but it's like you just typed out a couple sentences and it made a game. And if all you're trying to do is prototype something, that might be all you need. Like, oh my God, yeah, this mechanic works, or no, this mechanic's not fun. Hey, Yokosen had bad experiences with GPT models, so I'm Anthropic fanboy now. I think Anthropic's models were slightly better, in my opinion, but I'm using Codex now. All right, there's one other thing I wanted to write down before I forget, which is this. Let's just close everything else that we have here. How many of these I have open? Oh my goodness. There we go. Oh no, it deleted it. All right, well, whatever. It used 11%. It's not bad. Hey, VersaSign. Codex is way cheaper per token. Yeah, it seems cheaper. It seems like my quota goes much further. All right, anything else? What happens when we pick one of these? You bought silver. Yeah, so same thing. No matter what option we choose, it's reopening the dialogue. Choosing any chest or maybe later. Using the jump button, closes and immediately reopens. And then, yeah, theme problem. Okay, so if we press enter, it's not going to do that. That is great. Yeah, that's great. We don't move the character around during that time. Oh, they're still in the walk animation. They need to go into the stand animation. Character should enter the stand animation when the dialogue opens. Okay. Kind of thought you'll be amazing with using AI since all about writing things out. It's, you know, what's kind of interesting is an AI, like a good AI prompt is basically like a small spec of, hey, here's how the software should work. Here's what it should do. And it is a skill in itself. It's like if you get something like this and you didn't expect this, you got to think, okay, how could I do this the next time around? I'm also noticing this should probably be centered. Center the coin icon vertically. Anything else? No, I think that's about it. Hey, Steven. Been using Claude with Godot. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I like it. I'm kind of impressed with it as an interface for Godot as an editor sometimes. I mentioned this before, but here's an example. In the game, we have, for example, platformer player. And this animation tree, this is kind of crazy. But all of these 0.2 animations, and the animations are here, and like there are a lot of them. There's idle to walk, there's jumping. And all of these follow the same general structure, right? We have like all of these. We have to fill in each frame. This is just a lot to click through and to navigate and to press enter and type in some numbers here and there. And then you're like, hey, AI, here's my sprite sheet. Go do all that for me. And it's like, okay, yeah, done. And it's very easy for you to validate. You just click the play button. And if it looks good, it looks good. So, yeah, I still think that category of tasks that are incredibly easy to validate, are really good candidates for AI. Because yeah, a lot of the times it's like, well, it either looks good or it doesn't, and that's the only thing we care about. Performance doesn't even come into play. It's like centering this thing. When it centers it, it's not going to do it in a not performant way. Like I can just see that it uses the center property. All right, so let's go fix up some of this stuff. So there are a few improvements that need to be made. Center the coin icon vertically in the... Well, here I should just use whatever they're using as their terminology. So let's go find the dialogue. Here it is. And we should have a row. Yeah, here it is. Treasure chest option row. Coin icon. Coin icon doesn't actually show up because the sprite doesn't have sprite frames in it. I don't know why this wasn't done in the scene itself, but I feel like it should be done in the scene itself. I'm also not sure why it's a sprite. It should be an animated texture, right? That is peculiar. That is all peculiar. Yeah, that's strange. Is it any good at editing TSCN files directly? Yeah. Yeah. It seemed to have been pretty good. At least for me. Main issue is getting into game dev is these concepts, using the engine editor and all this stuff. Not good with these things. Better code. You can do everything through code still. You don't have to ever open the editor. I don't think you should do that. I think you should open the editor because there are a lot of things like this where you're looking at a UI and just seeing it laid out is much better than doing it through code. And here we could just change things around. Like if I wanted this to be a larger font, I could just change it in here. Or I want to move this to the right side or something. So yeah, I think you should still learn the editor. But then it's a matter of learning when do you use it versus when do you do things through code. Everything has dozens of edge cases, an escape menu, 2 hours, a text box with edit button, now showing a line edit and back. I struggle now, so I don't later. Yeah, I think there are a lot of edge cases. I also think it's like game engines are made to be pretty generic, and someone's going to make a game that pushes one part of it to its limits and not another part, and someone else is going to make a game that totally fits within all the paradigms that are already exposed to you. So you want to make like a 2D tile map with a camera. It's like, wow, those are just components out of the box. But you want to go change something so it's like you make Super Paper Mario where you switch from 2D to 3D. It's like, well, that might be a little bit harder. And maybe not. Who knows? Switching to some orthographic camera. All right, so I don't like this. I'm not sure why I did things this way. I'll write this down too. I don't think having a sprite underneath in control is a good idea. Animated coin icon should also have the sprite defined in the editor so that I can see it previewed. All right, center the coin icon vertically in here. This I'm pretty sure I can just do this myself. I'll just tell it to do that. Oh my god, this is so unwieldy. All right, animated coin icon. Or no, treasure chest option row. Treasure row. All right, that's one thing. Loot box. The player should enter a standing state when they interact with a dialogue. Loot box player stand. Yeah, show standing frame. All right, that's done. Choosing any chest or maybe later using the jump button both closes and then immediately reopens the dialog. It should just make it should not immediately reopen the dialog. And then the theme is wrong. So these things are going to be a little bit harder to do. Let's get the unthemed dialog first with some of these changes in. Yeah. And then while that's running, I'm going to take another break. Yeah, we got to make these changes. I want to do these as well. Changes to what AI did. And then I got to review all the code. Review all of the code. See if there's anything else that needs to be modified there. But for now, is it jump time? It's jump time. Hi again. Hey, Columbico, Wix, Casey, and Graphite. Yeah, close the game. Okay, so this should be done. Let's take a look. Centered it vertically via shrink center sizing. Set control lock true now calls show standing frame. After they close this, now ignores interaction until it's released. Okay, let's go try that stuff. And then we got to review code and we got to make another couple of changes. All right, nice. Yeah. So if we walk into them. Oh, what? Oh, we can't afford this. I was like, why isn't that working? Yeah. All right, everything seems like it's fine. And what if we're holding? Yeah, nice, that works. All right, pretty cool. Yeah. This is very neat. Oh, we even have sounds. Wow. This is amazing. This is really great. And I didn't look at the centering of the sprite. Did that work? It didn't stand out to me, so presumably it was fine. Yeah. Wow. Looks pretty good. At least I think so. It's slightly misaligned with the text, but whatever. All right, let's start looking through the code. This is somewhat beefy. This is just update agents.md. I'm trying to get it to stop asking me for permission to make files. All right, what are we looking at here? Option row, dialog box, get the portrait, set the prices. We have just public int money here and money changed. I kind of want to put this into like a separate class entirely. Like a money tracking thing that just raises this if needed, but it doesn't really matter. Can afford set money. Yeah, plus we'd probably proxy a lot of these function calls somewhere else. Where is this used right now? Oh, it passes in the function can afford. Interesting. Okay. Well, this can be private. This is fine. We got to collect up translated strings. I'll do that later. Collect up translated or strings to be translated. E.g. Which treasure chest would you like to buy? Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard to find. In fact, actually, I bet AI could do a good job at that. Also, Casey, I saw your comment on my YouTube video. It's funny how, you know, any 5 people going through a process are going to learn probably a lot of the same things and then some different things doing it too. And I realized that my localization video was positioned at game development with Godot and C#, but really it is kind of common across a lot of different kinds of development. In the end, localizing any software does come down to like identify the strings to be localized, translate them, and then use the translations. Like that's gonna exist for anything. And I bet someone out there wrote code like if, you know, locale equals enus, like return hello. And then they just got a bunch of like else ifs here that do something else. And like this would be terrible, but it's the simplest possible thing. It's like, well, you figured out what string you need to localize. You translate it right there in the file, and then your player, customer, whatever can see it. Yeah. And the stuff that was specific to Godot probably has some equivalent mechanism in other realms, like reading from .pot files and stuff. All right, what else do we have here? Focus controls. Interesting. Okay, nice. So this is fine. This needs to be changed though eventually. Dismiss this. When it's dismissed, get rid of money changed from this. strange. I think clearing it should be enough. Although these option rows are never freed, are they? No, they're never freed. That doesn't seem right. Do you consider doing this game in something besides Godot? No. Yeah, pretty set on Godot. Part of the reason why was to cut down on how much I need to figure out again. Any other engine I would use, I would have a lot of quirks to learn. And I've got enough Godot notes now where it should speed up the process. Plus, there's some things I can just directly reuse from Skeleseller, which is going to save me some time. Yeah, I think this is a mistake here. Clearing this is not the same as freeing this. So I don't think anything's freeing this. I don't think anything is freeing the rows in here. Treasure chest offer. Just a name and a cost. Okay, that's fine. All right, so that's not that bad. We have a UI layer, which is a canvas layer here. We end up adding in the dialogue to that. That's also fine. Is control locked? Is waiting for jump release before interact? Oh, we have a move and slide here. We don't need this. We don't need this either. Can we just not do anything? How's everything been going, Casey? So why did this happen? You press a button and then it's interacting on this too. Okay, I see. This is not a good thing. Yeah, this is not a good thing. Maybe we should just handle this on release. Because it just so happens that the jump button is the UI accept button. I don't think I want this to be here. Yeah. Because we have a jump and a UI accept button. We should just wait a frame. We should just wait until a frame after the dialogue was dismissed to re-enable controls. Yeah. I think that's a lot smarter. All right, so let's go take a look at that. Whoops. Oh my God. I didn't mean to zoom in, and I'm never going to find the old zoom level we were at. That's probably close enough. Oh, man. All right, is control locked. So where do we set this to false? Here. Yeah, there's... Oh, interesting. Okay, well, they did have some guard code around this. This is called from here. Dialogue dismissed. Okay, yeah. So if it's the same, do that, then set it to a new thing. And then if it is not control locked, then what we want to do is we want to wait a frame before... Oh, we want to wait a frame before doing this no matter what, right? I guess it's not very smart to do that. Because then we add an erase condition. Velocity set to 0 again. Interesting. This shouldn't matter. Or if it does matter, it shouldn't be done from here. And actually, this can be deleted too, right? Oh, it's already done here. Wow. Yeah. Show standing frame. Okay, what else should we change? I think we should change to using UI accept instead of jump. Yeah, probably. All right, I'll have to change that later. All right, nothing else here though. That's pretty good. Let's take a look at this. Graph offset. That's when I was just modifying stuff right now, right? I think we just get rid of that. Interacting. Looks good. Cool. All right, animated coin icon. I hate this. Trying to get my zoom level back 2 days ago. Just trying to imagine what it looked like. In VS Code, there was one setting that would control it, and I just had the number in my settings file. But here, I think there are a couple different settings, and at least I have the VOD. I also don't need it to be exact. But yeah, I know how that's annoying. Pretty good. Just been really busy. We're gonna have a bunch of product development stuff. I was just thinking about how much career-wise I've shifted since we had that one-off mentor session. 20% consulting, 80% regular employee. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. I hope you're enjoying everything. The being really busy part, we were talking about this earlier, that there's good busy and bad busy. I'm guessing from how you said this, that it's good busy, or else you wouldn't have said pretty good. Oh yeah, this whole animated coin icon, I just take massive exception to. In its entirety, let's do that. Yeah, I don't like any of it. All right, we'll do it after checking this in though. That way we have a point we can revert to. Loot box dialog box. I mean, this all seemed to work pretty well. Configure, yeah. I don't see anything unusual here. Yeah, I don't see anything unusual here. And we free the dialog box, which means, what was I talking about with the rows? This? Treasure dialog dismissed. We go through, wait, we save these off? Oh, why do we save these at all? Isn't this pointless? I think this is pointless. Yeah, so the dialog clears these itself as long as they're added. Yeah, they are added here. All right. So yeah, why do we save this? Nope, not that. Why do we save this at all? I don't think we should even have to remove the listeners since we're freeing them from the dialogue. And that's the only reason we're keeping them, right? Do money change minus equal? And option row. Oh. I see. That is peculiar. Yeah, I see. I don't think this line is needed. I'm going to leave that for now. Like I said, I want to come back to this stuff. This is the dialog box. I'm not going to look at that too closely. I don't care about the scene structure. And now we get to treasure chest option row. Property can be made private. Property can be made private. I mean, if this can be made private, then we don't need this to be a property at all. Good busy most of the time around right now because of bad busy in a sense. Pulled an all-nighter to be prepared for a big presentation our sales team had this morning. So now I'm on a relaxation time. That's not a regular thing, so it's okay. Oh man, all-nighter. I feel like it takes so long for me to get back to my normal sleep patterns and everything. Yeah. How did the presentation go though? All right, affordable, unaffordable. Is node ready? This isn't the tool script, right? No. Returns true if the node is ready. It's inside scene tree and its children are initialized. When would this ever not be inside a scene tree? Such that we need to worry about this. inside, what is this? Treasure chest option row. All right, what next? That's actually pretty much it. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. There are some changes I want to make here. But yeah, I'm going to check this in. So add dialogue for buying treasure chests. This was mostly AI written. There are still some changes that I'd like to make. Didn't have to be there for it. Salespeople didn't complain. I'll take that as good. Yeah, that sounds like it's probably good then. I'm glad you get to relax now. All right, so animated coin icon. I do not like this thing. I don't like that this is done through code. Change this. I don't like most of animated coin icon. I think we should set the animation up through the scene file rather than through code. That way it's visible. Unless we need to use this somewhere else too. Will we ever need to use it somewhere else? We're going to have it in floating text. How will we do that? Yeah, we just put that underneath there. So am I mistaken in there being a texture rectangle that's animated? Animated texture, yeah. I think we should just do that. Yeah, I use Codex now. I just think it's so much more efficient than how I was doing things originally. And I struggled with that at first because my general thinking was, like, I took some amount of pride in trying to be more efficient at how I'm coding, like learning hotkeys, navigating between files and functions and copy pasting things in the right spots or whatever else. And then I realized, like, wait, none of this really matters anymore. Yeah, AI can just do this better. And the same sort of thing happened when I first started using an auto formatter. Like, I used to, like, write on if statement, whatever, if foo, do something like this. And if I ever needed to tab this in or do something differently or put in an else if or whatever, like, I had a structure for how I would do this. Then I started using, I think it was Prettier. I think that's what it was called for JavaScript. And it just formatted everything for me. So I just had to press save. And I was like, oh, wow, there's an entire some number of hours per month of work I would do that I just didn't need to do anymore. And yeah, I feel like there's another step function increase in efficiency. Make a color theme and just spat out some hex values. I said, can you show me the color scheme visually? I can use emojis. You know what does work, just for the future if you want to try this? You can just copy paste these into VS Code and it will show you the colors. And if that doesn't work, turn it to CSS first and it should work. Although then you might need to put it inside like a dot body or something and say color. And anyway, but yeah, as just even plain text, this already had shown up. And you can even click these and change them, I think. Yeah. So that's I think the easiest way of doing that. I'm pretty sure Codex would just show me the color swatch though. So yeah, I'm not sure why it wasn't working for you. Although alternatively, you could say like, AI, write me a tool that will change the entire color of my screen based on the color that I pass in. Or like put a swatch program that shows me the color scheme. Hey Smack, it's going really well. We made some good progress today. I think that maybe by the end of today, we can get to the point where we've got like the basic game flow for this. And this is day number 2 of this sub game. So I'm pretty happy with this. Here's what we have so far. It doesn't look like a game yet. But like I said, this is day number 2. So you can walk around with this character. You can't go out of bounds here. It will move the camera. You have to get intentionally very low on the screen for that to happen. And you can interact with things, but there's nothing to actually do when you interact unless you talk to this character. And then it pops up a dialogue saying, which treasure chest would you like to buy? And you can make a choice, but the choice doesn't do anything. So yeah, like I said, it doesn't really resemble a game yet. And we have these customers walking around over here. Work's the one spending the money, so I won't complain. Yeah, I liked Claude quite a lot. Hey, Harping. Me deciding that, hey, I should build a full stack API. Mini CMS from scratch. I'm about 30 hours in, finally getting familiar with the tech stack. I think I'll be repeating this until the end of time, but I think that everyone has a goal with what they're doing or goals, and that you need to work in a way that meets those goals. So it's like, if your goal is to learn, I think you do things very differently from if your goal is to make a product, and you do things very differently from my goal is to make a product that's due tomorrow. So like, avoid tech debt is a great general philosophy to have, but if you're trying to ship something in 2 hours, sometimes you can't avoid tech debt. Like, your time frame will dictate how much you can do. And if a task takes 10 hours and you only have 2, you will have to cut a corner. So I think it's the same thing with this. It's like, okay, you're spending 30 hours doing this. You're probably learning a lot. You're probably enjoying it. You know, your goal is probably not just like get something out as fast as possible. And if it were, maybe you'd do things a little differently. Who knows? Yeah, could be you have multiple goals. My entire game is tech debt at this point. But that's where learning is probably your, if I had a list from everything you've said, learning is probably your primary goal. And it sounds like you are learning a lot. So yeah, like, your goals are probably being met. All right, so did I ever finish typing this? I did not. I don't like most of animated coin icon. I think we should set the animation up through the scene file rather than through code. That way it's visible directly in the editor. I also think it should use a texture rect backed by an animated texture. That way it can be control nodes for the whole scene. Make those changes. All right, how are we doing on quota? And when does the quota reset? In an hour? Wow. Yeah, so I think it's impossible at this point to use the entire weekly usage, because I think each 5-hour window only gives you 14% usage. So we only have this window and then one more, and this one's already halfway done. So I think at best we could use 20% of the 37%. So yeah, as we get a little bit further in, we could start using the speed up mode. Yeah, we could change speed to 1.5. It says increased usage. But like, we just literally cannot use all the quota anyway, so we might as well. Not write your prompts anymore and use something like Whisper Flow for speech to text. I like writing the prompts though, and it allows me to be structured about it. I think if I were just doing speech to text, that'd be for like good one-off tasks that are low priority. What are your thoughts on learning while trying to make a product? Do those approaches clash for you? No, I think it's fine. I think what's tough, and this is something actually Flare commented on Discord. Flare just shared some artwork for their game, and someone commented that like, hey, your artwork looks a lot better than the original artwork you shared. And Flare said like, yeah, that's bound to happen. I've been making this artwork over the course of like 2 years or something, and I'm now better than I was at the beginning. I think that can potentially be a problem. Not saying for Flare's project, but where you're learning as you go. So your initial code or art or music or whatever is, let's say, like a 3 out of 10. And then the later stuff is a 5 out of 10. And then the latest stuff is an 8 out of 10. And if you're trying to make a cohesive product, it's like, okay, well, you know, you can't have your choppy music in the beginning and then have like really polished music at the end. You probably need to go back and revamp. So I think that's kind of where there's a trade-off. It's like having to go back and redo some things because you got better at it. And ideally it's not as hard, but like, I think in the extreme case of this, you're going from skills of like a 1 out of 10 all the way up to a 10 out of 10. So you're going in and revamping like most of your code base. And that's where I think the best thing you could probably do is just like tackle a smaller project so that, yeah, it's mostly learning, but then you're only going from a 1 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 by the end of it. And I'm making some numerical quantification of this that you can't really do, right? You're not a 3 out of 10 in music at any point. You can't do that. But like, you know, wherever you get noticeably better. Are you using any custom skills? No, also Hey Corp. Yeah. You see your usage in Codex? Yeah, I can, but I think that's 2 clicks. And I don't know where the hotkey is. The hotkey is for that. I'd love to just have it on screen at all times. Hey, ABC, it'll be funny when the AI bubble collapses and people need support products and nobody knows how it works. Well, but even when it collapses, it's like there'll still be local AI that people could use. And I see people talking more and more about like custom machines for local AI, and those machines are maybe in the like $2,000 to $3,000 range, and they're not nearly as fast as some mega cloud model that's going on. But this is not a crazy expenditure for a business. So if your engineers relied on AI and you're like, oh well, let's go replicate that. Now, granted, I don't know how good this is and how good local models are right now, but I don't think it can ever totally evaporate for developers. Did I press enter on this? Yeah. While I was blathering about something, it finished. Ran out of AI budget 3 times this month. Yeah, that sounds like it could be problematic. Oh, this super broke. Super broke. Yeah, it does not like that, huh? It didn't even make the change. What happened here? Animated coin icon. What? Did it just crash? It did just crash. Okay, I am gonna close. I won't close that for now. Halos of Gold. Runs Gemma 12B for free, no problem. Do you find that it's high quality output? Because I tried a local model briefly the other day. Yeah, it wasn't for very long. I wasn't trying to do anything super serious with it, and it didn't seem fantastic. It wasn't like Codex level. Failed due to missing dependencies referenced by this. Did it get deleted? What happened here? It's still trying to load a script that doesn't exist. I'll just delete this from here. All right, so close, and now try opening an animated coin icon. No, this is bad. All right, well, let's just click load anyway then. And just delete the script. The script doesn't exist. So now it should be totally gone, right? Yeah, now it's gone. But this did not do what I told it to do. It didn't make a texture rectangle. I don't understand though where that coin's even coming from then. Like what? What is this doing? I think more time is put into distilling models. We'll soon get extremely good local models. Hasn't been enough commercial pressure. Yeah, things are still improving across the board too. Even the frontier models are getting better. A friend of mine was using Fable back when it was accessible and was like, I miss that I can't use Fable anymore. It was only for 2 days. Like what, a high school freshman? That's already pretty impressive. Yeah. Yeah, and there are some tasks that I'll probably be totally fine for. All right, so this did not do what I wanted it to do at all. So I'm going to revert this whole thing and just start a new prompt. I found that this happens every once in a while. Like, okay, so just to be clear, here's the task I told it to do. It was take this sprite and turn it into a texture rectangle with an animated texture. It didn't do that at all. There's just no sprite here now. It's literally blank. There are no sprite frames. So I think it just like grossly misinterpreted something. And I don't think my prompt was bad. So I'm going to just take the same prompt and just open a new thing and do this. I think we just set the animation up through the scene. All right, so how about this? I'll stop using I think. Animated coin icon should change. Set the animation up through the scene file rather than through code. That way it's directly visible. It should use a texture rect backed by an animated texture rather than, what is it now? It must be an animated sprite 2D if it's got sprite frames. Yeah. Backed by an animated texture rather than an animated sprite 2D. Okay. Oh, wait, before I do this, first of all, what time is it? Okay. It's somewhat close to lunch. I want to try this just really fast to see. I've never done this before, but I'm going to click speed 1.5 and we're at 52%. I just want to see how much this takes. Because it says more usage, but is it like Is it like 1.5x more usage, or is it like 5x more usage? So yeah, 52% to begin with. And when it ran in slow mode, it was at like 1 minute and something. I don't know what. It doesn't really matter. And berated. You're a bad AI. Give me a digital newspaper. You can also ask what's the best way to prompt this task. Yeah, I haven't done too much like meta prompting. Is there another better way to write this code? I said sure, and provided me with an empty method. Haha, AI, that's a funny joke. Hey, stats. It's noticeably more usage. Yeah, this does update in semi-real time, but if I just hit refresh here, yeah, oh yeah, it does seem like it's noticeably more. It's already gone through 5%. So yeah, I think we need to turn this mode off as soon as possible. Now, with that said, I have what, 1 hour left until this resets. And I'm going to probably take my lunch break in another like 40 something minutes, maybe. I don't know. Okay, yeah, it's burned through 8% so far. I also expected it to be done already, because I think it's taking longer than the other one did. How long did the other one take? 1 minute, 18 seconds. But it didn't actually do the job. I want this to stop happening. Do you want to make these changes? I don't know how to tell it that yes, you can make these changes all the time. And I tried to with this. When validating Godot changes using .gd files, you have permission to create this. All right, so how about this? Let's just delete that part. You have permission to create .gd files in a temporary directory and then edit those scripts. There's no need to ask for permission. Is it speed or reasoning? I just changed speed from standard to fast, but reasoning was already set to extra high. But yeah, it's gone through 9% so far. So this was an interesting experiment to run. I think this is only toward the end of your week should you probably use this. Bottom left says ask for approval. But ask for approval and changing to auto would do it for everything. I just want that one thing that it's asking me about, which is like, hey, I want to make a .gd file. I want that to have blanket permission. But if it's going to run rm-rf on some directory, I want it to ask me for that. Excuse me. So yeah, it did a bad job before this. And this time, okay, so how much did it end up using? Yeah, so it used 13%. I'm going to turn that off. Like I said, this is an end of week. I got way too many credits kind of thing. Did it work this time? Okay, that looks good. That does not look good. Am I wrong about how this animation works? Each of the frames is fine. Okay, so maybe it just doesn't play correctly in the editor. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let's go look at this. Yeah, like that looks weird, but what if we just play it? Maybe percentage went up because it invalidated the cache. Yeah, that's also possible. This is super broken. Are animated textures supposed to even be used anymore? Animated texture. Maybe this was dumb to begin with. Deprecated. Does not work properly in current versions. Did it? Did AI warn me about this? No, it didn't. But yeah, this is very, very broken. So what do they suggest instead? There's no equivalent workaround. Okay. Well, that was a waste of my time then, huh? Well, let's go revert all of that. And that didn't even work. Where's delete? Where is delete? Oh, that's strange. Oh no, it's not delete because they're not new files. They're old files. I need to roll back. Oh, right. I didn't select them all correctly. Okay. So then this is try to get agents.md to be correct. It just keeps asking for permission for this one task. Maybe you can't give it permission through an agent's file. Yeah, maybe you just can't even do that. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. This animated coin icon, let's just turn it into an animated sprite here and just set up exactly what it would have done through the code. And I'll just do this by hand because this should not be hard. So what is the frame rate? 8. Actually, what do I even, why am I looking at that? Why don't we just look at what it is in Skeleseller? Coin, currency label, here it is. Sprite, it's set to 5. So this is the speed that we had it playing at in Skeleseller. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. I think it's fine. So let's set it to 5 FPS over here too. So we shall go and make a new sprite frames and copy over assets, sprites, UI, loot box. Where's the coin? Where did I put you, coin? Huh, where did I put that? FFI coin. It's under characters. Definitely shouldn't be there. All right. Move coin.png to UI. All right, so it's in characters right now. Let's just use it from there for now. Then zoom in. What is the size of this? I don't know. All right, let's go take a look over here then. It is 80 by 14. So it's 16 by 14 for each of these. Nice. Select all, add, and done. And this is default autoplay. All right, so I think all of this is pointless. We have the texture filter set to nearest. That can be done here. It already is. So this is finished. This isn't needed. Coin animation's on. That's not needed. We don't need that anymore. Custom minimum size is to frame width, frame height, which is 16 by 14. Where is that? Oh, that's on this. 16 by 14 is already set there. Yeah, so we don't need that either. So this is all done. And then creating this, we have this set up. That's already fine. That's okay. Set loop mode, linear, animation speed, add the frames, add the region. Yeah, so this is all just done now. We can just delete the whole script. Detach and delete. Oh, let's delete it through. Well, I guess it doesn't matter where we delete it from. Delete. Okay, then we just go try that out, right? In the options for permissions, I see a custom option. Maybe you can ask codecs to edit config.toml. Oh, interesting. Do I have that? I don't have that. Whoa, what am I looking at here? This is a crazy way of doing documentation. Wow. Permissions, profile, and sandbox settings from your local config. This is where you define narrower or broader defaults in the built-in presets. Why don't I have that choice? Is that... I don't have that choice. Huh. Hey, Boolean. Happy Wednesday. Okay, well, maybe I need to look into this. Figure out why I can't see the custom permissions option here. Maybe I can still define them and then have codecs. What was I going to do? Modify.gd files itself and remove the line from agents. Okay. Yeah. So did this work? Hey, look at that. So cool. We got our rotating coins. I think 5 frames per second is fine. Maybe 8 would also look good. But it's clear that it's money. That's all that really matters. Yeah. No, that character's getting stuck there. No. I didn't add them to the correct group. I got to do that. Yeah, I might just be able to add it to a folder anyway. All right, let's duplicate all these. Oh, wait, no, there's a better way to do this. You can just press B now, and then eyedropper pick this, and then draw in a bunch of other customers. So I'm going to make a whole lot of these. In fact, let's just do that. Done, and then go put all of these here. Okay, so if we just play this, I haven't made any fixes yet. I just added in a million customers. We should see them get stuck on the treasure spirit. Yeah, so they're getting stuck. And that happens pretty quickly. And the way we fix this is by putting this inside of the correct group, which does not show up for some reason here. Navigation, polygon, source group. Can I copy that? I wonder why it's not global. Does that work now? We just need to see them walk around the treasure spirit. I'm pretty sure it's working now because otherwise I think those characters would have gotten stuck. Yeah, it's probably not a coincidence. It's probably actually fixed. Yeah, cool. Hey, Rylan. Is the F1 help offline docs valid to learn Godot? Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Yeah, I consult them every once in a while. And you can also right-click a lot of different sections of Godot and find docs that way. So like here, you can right-click and go to open documentation. And yeah, they're pretty reasonable. Every once in a while, they'll have something that's somewhat misleading. And then I just file a bug and tell them like, hey, yeah, this could probably be better. All right, so this all looked fine. Let's go check this in. What else? What is this? This is the change I don't want. Revert that. So this is improve animated coin icon. Rather than set up an animated sprite 2D through code, we now do it through the editor. This makes it easier to see what the UI, what a UI will look like in the editor. What is going on here? Oh, there we go. All right, and this is make customers path around treasure spirit, the treasure spirit. Something I used to be really picky about is not having a subject go over 50 characters. The one I just typed is pretty close, but it actually isn't over. It's 46, but I don't care about that anymore. I think that's a waste of my time. I generally try to keep them short, and I have the whole commit guidelines thing here. This. And yeah, this had just 5 rules, I think. 7 rules. Separate subject from body with a blank line. I still do that. Limit subject line to 50. I only try to do this now. Capitalize, I still do. Don't end it with a period, I still do. Use imperative, I still do. Wrap body 72, I still do. And use this to explain what and why versus how. Yeah, I generally do all that stuff. But yeah, number 2 I dropped pretty much. However, a noob like me, I have no background in coding or game deving. I think it'll still help, but what I'd probably start with is the Godot Getting Started guide. There is a step-by-step guide here. I highly suggest reading through this. And starting with nodes and scenes is a great spot. Because this will teach you the philosophy of Godot and how you should structure your scenes. And then the rest of this is also pretty interesting, especially if you're not into game dev. And then I'd mix that with the 20 games challenge that is here. And I would do maybe like 2 or 3 games from here and see how you feel. So the first game is Pong. Pong is pretty self-explanatory. In fact, you could watch someone play this for like 2 minutes and then know how to make it entirely on your own. You'd have absorbed all the rules in 2 minutes. It's just 2 paddles, a ball, and maybe you have score, maybe you have a title screen, maybe you restart after someone loses. So that's a really good first game to make. It'll have you put things on the screen, handle input, handle some basic like gameplay control flow, and then that's it. And then the next game they have is Flappy Bird. And again, if you've ever seen Flappy Bird, like 10 seconds of watching Flappy Bird is enough to know how Flappy Bird works. You press a button and your character goes upward. You don't press anything and they fall downward. It creates some pipes. You fly between the pipes. And here, you're still rendering things on the screen. You're still handling input, but now you're handling an infinite like canvas, I guess you could say. And you're dynamically generating these pipes here. But even then, the dynamic generation of pipes is like there's always a one on top, there's always one on bottom, and it's just that there's a gap between them and the gap has to move. So yeah, I like this site as a way of building up your game dev experience. And then you start getting into much more complex games, pretty early on. Like Worms, I don't think is a super easy game to make, but it does just still build on all the other things you would have learned doing this. And then yeah, you get to the really hard stuff. Like, yeah, I don't think Minecraft is a beginner game to make. Portal, same thing. All right, where did we leave off here? So this is done. Now just move coin to the UI folder. That should be very simple. Coin. We should just have to click this, move. And now we gotta find the right place for it. UI, loot boxes, move. Done. Okay. Uh-oh. What happened here? Commit failed. Aborting due to empty commit message. I must have accidentally deleted it. Move coin.png to correct folder. I'm not even going to run this. I'm just going to assume it's correct. Thank you very much, because the F1 help docs are a bit hard, and I've seen some of the online docs and was glad there were some tutorials. Yeah. I think the way I look at it is there are some products or pieces of documentation where, yeah, you probably want to go through the whole documentation. But in general, those are guides, not references. When you have documentation like Godot has, so for example, if we search for animated sprite 2D, I think this is a pretty good way of learning what animated sprite 2D is, what properties it has, how you might use this from here. But this is not a tutorial, although they do have links to tutorials here. So sometimes this can be sufficient by looking through some of these maybe. But yeah, not everything is going to have that. Maybe Sprite 2D won't have it. No, there actually is still a tutorial here. Okay, well, anyway, I don't know how many nodes have this, but not all of them do. And yeah, for those, you'll need to go look at something else. Either try it out in the editor or go look at a YouTube video. Custom Lexer parser interpreter for the tiny SOLang. Is that what you're doing? You're making a programming puzzle game? Because that sounds neat. I think there was a time not that long ago, yeah, maybe like 2015, where programming games weren't really explored all that much. Now I feel like there have been more popular programming games. What was that one? The Farmer game. The Farmer was replaced. Yeah, like this one did really well. This has, 4,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive. And yeah, it's, as far as I know, Python. I don't know if they use Python literally, but yeah, you're writing Python code in the game and it's doing something over here and you can see the output and solve puzzles or, I don't know, optimize something. I haven't played the game. But yeah, then there was that HR game. What was it called? HR. What was it called? Or like While True Learn. There's that one. Some HR game. What's that one called? Anyway, more of these have started existing. HR company or something. Human resource machine. This is what I'm thinking of, right? This uses some, yeah. Yeah, so more and more of those have been explored now. I think it's pretty cool. Hence your struggle, yeah. I mean, you could simplify it if you wanted to. You could tackle a simpler game. Hey, Muro, I don't know why your name is so hard for me to say. All right, theme is wrong. Why do we save this at all? And I think we should change to using UI accept instead of jump. They're bound to the same thing, right? All right, let me just ask this. Why are there calls to is node ready inside this? All right, and change using UI accept. Let's go take a look at the project file. We have input, and if I search for accept, it is enter space joypad 0, and jump is... Oh, whoops, I'm doing this wrong. Jump is joypad 0 and space. So UI accept is slightly more than this. And that's probably what should be the interact button. I'm actually not... I don't care too much. Do we use UI accept at all right now? For dialogue? Yeah, just for dialogue. So technically, that's what we should probably do here too. If we ever have the word jump, we should probably change this with UI accept, which is then going to very slightly break. Well, no, it won't. I guess it'll be fine. Oh, wow. Strange, Casey. Yeah. All right, so what's this going to tell me? It's just guard code. They're lifecycle guards, yeah. I think this is kind of silly. Intended patterns needs to be configured, stores all this stuff, but only updates the visible labels if the node is already ready. If it's not ready. Yeah, I just think this guard code is not really worth it. So I'm going to go delete this. Option row. Where is configure called? Here. And it is after we've added this, but this may not be in the scene tree yet. Is that the problem? Or is it in the scene tree? No, it's in the scene tree already. Yeah, and I don't think there's really a point in doing this. Yeah, I don't think we need this. Unless we changed it at some point. But we don't. So yeah, just delete that. And this. And this. All right, everything should still work the same way. Let's go try it. Everything does not work the same way. Oh, let me look at the ordering on that again. Yeah, here it is. So we have configure is set here. Oh, we add it there. Okay, so configure should be done first if we're going to do it that way. Otherwise, these labels won't be correct. Alternatively, we just put this down into here. And now we're totally fine. And I think we should call this init and not configure. And now everything should be good. How are we looking there? Nice. Yeah, nice. Everything's fine. All right, that's just a minor code simplification. I don't think that's a huge deal either way. So this would need to be checked in, and is this just by me saving the file? I think it is. Oh, then I have UI accept here. Okay, that's different. So we'll ignore that for now, and we'll check this part in too, which is just this entire file. Check that box. Yeah. Remove is node ready guards. This just isn't the pattern we use in the rest of the code base. I also renamed configure to init. And then this change is use UI accept for the dialogue choices. This matches what we do in the farming game. We still use the jump button for starting the dialogue. All right, so done with that, done with that. The theme is wrong. This is going to be a little bit more annoying. Because oh man, yeah, this is going to be a little bit more annoying. Because we have fonts and everything in here too. All right. Yeah, all right. Let's just go do it. In case you can't tell, I don't want to do this. All right, panel container has a different panel specified here. Yeah, so this texture we need, show in file system, scroll 1. All right, so we're going to put this into our UI folder over here. So scroll 1 is the dialog background. Then we need the portrait, which is a panel. Yeah, we need the panel for this. Where's that come from? Portrait, panel. Got it. File system, open. All right, board 2. So portrait panel container, dialog background panel container. I mean, this is like this. All right, what else? The button. The button's got a whole bunch of different things. Yuck. Yeah, yuck. All right, let's run this again and see what I need to change. So what is this row? It's got a focus thing on it. Oh, whoops. Apparently saw the brush thing selected. Oh, there's the button. Okay, it's next to the cursor here. I just knew that B showed it, but when you press B, it spawns a dialog on the right side. So I thought it was just hidden all the time. And whether or not you press B would be whether this thing showed, but it's just clicking this. Okie dokie. All right, so go back to the dialog that we have. Where is that? Dialog. Actually, I just want the treasure row. What is this thing? It's an HBox container that's inside of a button. Huh, that's interesting. All right, how do we want to theme that button then? Maybe like how they're themed in Skeleseller. Yeah, in fact, what I'd like to do is kind of just copy a link to this and tell it to do everything for me. All right, so I want, by the way, this is on low speed, right? Yeah. I want treasure dialogue. What is it called? What is it called? Lootboxes dialog box. Yeah, I want this to look like this. Copy over any button textures and set up a theme, a Godot theme, to use the same textures to UI. I guess it's lootbox UI. Huh. Can't find it. Strange. Scene lootboxes UI? No, it's assets. It's weird. I still can't find it. Assets sprite. Oh, I see. Assets sprites UI. Loot box. to use those textures. The ad's gonna start. I'm just gonna snooze this because I don't plan on being here for too much longer before getting my lunch. Copy over any button textures. I've already copied the panel background for the overall dialogue and for the portrait. But make sure to use those in the correct places. All right, how are we doing on quota? 37%. Okay, yeah. Yeah, even trying to use my AI quota is somewhat difficult. And this is what led to me overworking a little bit yesterday. I was like, oh man, I'm about to run out of quota. Might as well just do some tasks. Well, it's not just like give it a mega task, come back, it's done perfectly. It's more like give it a small or medium task. It takes whatever, 15% quota. You review it. You come up with another task and then, you know, repeat. And this all takes time. Not just time for the AI to do something, but like you've got to come up with a task. You've got to phrase it correctly. You've got to figure out what's even worth delegating to this AI. And then reviewing it takes time too, testing it out, if there are any changes you need to make. So that by the time you've done a few of these tasks, it's probably taken you 45 minutes or an hour or something. And if the way that this started was just, oh, I want to use my quota, it's not just well, 5 minutes later, I'm done. Cool, I did this thing. I guess it's sort of like, imagine you have a gift card to something and it's $100 and I'm like, okay, just go spend the money. It's like, yeah, you just find a product and you buy it and you're done. There's no validating. You just spent the money. You're done. And that's how I always expect this to work is I'm like, oh, I have a gift card for 50% AI quota. I'll just go spend it. It's like, no, that's not simple. Yeah. And I copy pasted this the other day. I think I did this on stream. I was just like, okay, you know what? Just find tasks in my to-do list that you're confident that you can tackle. And it did a couple things that I thought was kind of neat. One, it said, oh, these are already done. And I could just cross those off my list. And then, yeah, it found some other ones where it was like, oh, hey, here's a to-do item in the code. And yeah, this is really simple for me to tackle. So then I had to do some of those and I just knocked them off the list. So that was a cool little easy query to take like 5-6 items off my to-do list. Even reading this stuff, cloud output takes a surprisingly long time. Yeah. The general workflow that I think is pretty solid is you come up with a prompt yourself. So like come up with a prompt yourself, then have it plan, review the plan, have it implement, and then review the code. I think this is pretty solid. But yeah, these are not necessarily small steps. The have it plan and have it implement are easy for a human to do because you just click a button. But yeah, reviewing stuff, coming up with it. So anywhere that you actually do need to be spun up for this. But yeah, we're chugging right along here today. Yeah. I think I'm leaning toward reusing Skeleseller music for this. I should turn this into a prop hunt game. I wonder, there's got to be like a single player prop hunt that exists, right? I guess it wouldn't be that hard to do, but I don't know if it'd be very fun. I'm trying to just stand perfectly in line with the NPC. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. All right, this is almost finished. Yeah, I'm really hungry. Oh, nice. Look at that. It just had created a thing. It didn't ask me for permission. Maybe the newest change I made to agents actually took. Oops. Agents.md. You have permission to create GD files in a temporary directory and then edit those scripts. There's no need to ask for permission. Yeah, I just did it. Oh, no, now it's asking. It's just congratulating this. So much for that. Tomorrow's going to be music day, by the way. I think we're going to finish the top-down shooter music and maybe go rework the drums in the farming game music. And then ideally, by the end of tomorrow, we can add the top-down shooter music into the game and see what it sounds like, not just play it alongside. Worked mostly on the loot box game. Got it so that you, well, no, I'll just do that. It was a lazy day from a human effort perspective. It still took a grit to stream and stick with it. Build succeeded. Doing the last audit now. Diff status. Copied assets check. Sure. Audit looks good. All right, so it should be summarize everything now. So it probably added a bunch of files. Yeah. And I didn't want to do this myself. This would have been very, very tedious. So hopefully it's about to wrap up. Let's just test it anyway. Let's not even wait. Waiting is for chumps. All right. That's not bad. Yeah. Hey, Pressel. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And howdy, cakes and cakes folks. Welcome in. We are working on our loot box game where you buy treasure chests in essentially a Skeleseller world, and then customers will come over and buy some items. But all of this is pointless, and you're just supposed to leave the game eventually. But while Cakes Raiders are here, did Cake start working on a new game? I asked this last time, and I never got an answer, and I'm very curious. Will there be an afternoon stream? Yeah, there will be an afternoon stream. Yeah. Mike might be a bit too close. Let me just turn down the audio a little bit. Yeah. Right there. So hopefully test. Yeah, it shouldn't be peaking as much. You're a Godot expert? I wouldn't necessarily say expert, but I have been using it now pretty consistently for like 3 years. So I probably do know a decent amount. Wasn't even the volume. You mean you're hearing like mouth sounds you don't want to be hearing? Is it okay to ask best practice questions? Yeah, I haven't done any 3D stuff, so keep that in mind. But beyond that, yeah, I probably should be able to answer some of this for you. Working on his new game, but thinks he needs to work on his lockpicking skills more. Is he playing Skyrim or something? Also, Chappie, what is the new game? Oh, yeah, it is usually a bit lower. Yeah. Fine, I'll move it slightly away. There. And I'll turn the volume back up a little bit. I mean, it's not going to be jarring, so you don't need to cover your ears or anything. There we go. Yeah, so that is the style that I want when you've selected one of these, I think. No, because that looks like it's not choosable. We need some way of indicating that this is selected more than it currently is. Maybe it changes the text color. That'd probably be good. Yeah, that'd probably be good. Okay, so just like with the maybe later button, changing the font color to white when selected, do the same for treasure row. That way it's clearer which row is selected. Yeah, that should be pretty simple. Okay, so theme is wrong. We're working on that now. Then review all the code. I mean, we already did that. And then purchasing stuff. So I don't know if we're making this through as fast as I might have thought. Also, opening a treasure chest should really play that animation. I don't even think I wrote that down. Did I? Open the chest, yeah. Play the animation from Skeleseller. And at some point, make treasure stands look like the ones from Skeleseller. It's playing Gothic, looking at some incremental games. Not sure if his new game is defined only by incremental, though. Okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah, I think incremental games have been pretty popular lately. And I think they're sort of evergreen. It's kind of like roguelike games. People always want to see progress. Incremental games are kind of nice to build it up. I almost look at them like how I look at incremental music. Like you played just drums and then you add in a bass and then you add in another instrument and you add in something else. And it's like, yeah, it's probably always going to sound somewhat pleasing. Yeah, watching numbers go up. I will probably add in an incremental game into Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And I guess in a sense, this is that game, the loot box game. You will eventually get upgrades. You'll get more and more chests here. Oh, this is supposed to be red and it's not. Yeah, we got to put that back in. The new theme stopped text from rendering as red when you can't afford something. Cookie, I mean loot clicker. We're not gonna, this won't be a clicker game. In fact, I don't even know what I'm gonna do about mouse and keyboard, but using a controller, you should be able to walk around, you know, select things. So yeah, you'll buy treasure chests in this game. They'll spawn onto one of these platforms here. You'll eventually open the chest. It'll spawn items. Then customers will come and buy the items. It'll resemble Skeleseller in that regard, but none of this will have a purpose to it. You are expected to, at some point, just leave by going off the screen down here and finding a portal and walking into it. And that's another reason why we need to have this confirmation when you do go into a portal. Where is that? Part of why it should ask for confirmation is because of how low the character has to be on the screen for the camera to scroll. I don't want the player accidentally leaving and not knowing what happened. You played Scritchy Scratchy? Yeah, I've seen it. It looks like it's probably good. I haven't actually played it myself. I'm not, you know, it's weird. I produce a lot of different things that I'm not a fan of consuming. Like, I don't watch a lot of Twitch. I don't play a lot of games, actually, I guess in general. But like, I don't play programming games. I made Botland. I don't really play incremental games. And I made Skeleseller. And I don't play many narrative or story games or comedy games, I guess. And I'm making one of those. And part of it's intentional. Like, I don't want to be influenced by a game that directly relates to what I'm doing. Like, if I play Quake and it inspires me for this game, that's fine in my opinion. But if I go play like Stanley Parable and it inspires me for this, that's less fine. Yeah, creating is the play. Well, I mean, okay, so I said I don't play a lot of games. To be clear, I don't play a large variety of games, but I do spend a lot of hours in 2 games. Slay the Spire 2 in the finals right now. So that's kind of what I meant by I don't play a lot of games. And I'm not trying to be nitpicky about how you should use language here, but I just know that that was ambiguous and I wanted to clarify. How far is your game in its life to being finished? So we are here. And I think the finish is somewhere over here. So it has been 3 months to get to this point. So I think we still have another, well, I don't know how many dashes I drew. Apparently 34. I would say it's more like this. This might be more accurate. 24. Yeah, we're probably at least 2 years away. Yeah, I released a couple games already, yeah. Well, a couple of paid games. I've also released some free games. So if I just show this off pretty quickly here, the game so far after 3 months, we have, I gotta fix that and make this. All right, so we have a basic title screen. This is not anything to write home about yet. And we've got a bunch of different sub games. So like the first one is a platformer. And then you go from here into a farming game. And then you go from here into a top-down shooter. And then you go from here into the loot boxes game, where you're expected to buy treasure chests and open them for loot. So that's why this game is taking so long, because none of these games affect any of the other games. So like, we're not coming back to the platformer. I don't even think there might be another platforming game. But like, we can't reuse a lot of the characters or animations, maybe just some of the logic. Whereas if we were making, let's say, I don't know, like Skyrim or something, right? It's like whatever character animations you set up for the opening cutscene, like those same characters are going to be seen throughout the game. When you have dialogue with characters, it's going to look the same. When you have UI or picking skills, it's going to look the same. And you're not just making like 10 different games inside of Skyrim. Can it run Doom? There should be like a microwave inside the game and it's got some like Doom-esque game in it. Is it actually taking so long? Seems like pretty good progress. It's good progress for sure. If we were just talking about like how long would it take to make Stuck in a Broken Tutorial, it's like, yeah, it would probably take anyone a pretty long time. But if it's how long would it take to make a game, yeah, it might not take this long. All right, so this is done. Button now mirrors this. Okay, so let's go try this out. An ad is going to start in 10 seconds. I can't stop it. I already snoozed it 3 times. This did not even work. Yeah, so I think the text color is being overridden by the theme color. I also don't see the unaffordable options turning red. I'm just going to do that. Yeah, we're 26% remaining. It's going to reset in 13 minutes. So then in the afternoon, we have just free reign. We can't run out of quota. Or at least not the weekly one. Could run out of the 5-hour one. But I think I'm going to get going. I think I'm going to get lunch. I'll just write where I left off. Needed text colors to override what the theme is doing. Or use a different sub theme or something based on selection or affordability. Oh, nice, Chappy. Yeah, that's great to hear. Hey, Trackley. Yeah, so quick little summary of this. I have been streaming now for about 3 hours and 20 minutes. I'm going to go get lunch. And then after lunch, we're going to aim for another like 2 to 3 hours. And ideally, we see some of the game loop come together. Tomorrow will just be morning only. And it'll just be a music day. We're going to be working on the top-down shooter music. And it's already kind of mostly done. I spent last week and the week before working on it a bit. And now, as of yesterday, I also did some work off stream on it. I've got 2 minutes of music and it loops correctly, and we're going to polish it up, I think. Wouldn't it be cooler if the games are connected? Like you're stuck in the platform and have to get a double jump upgrade to get out. Oh, yeah, they are connected. I just didn't show how they're connected. Also, hi, Go Lucifer. Yeah, so let me show you how, for example, you get out of the platformer. So you eventually work your way up to here. And you'll try, making this jump and you won't be able to. And from here, you fall through the world into a connective realm to the farming game. So it's not connected in the sense that like, oh, you learned how to double jump and now you get to use that in the farming game. But it's more like you're not just randomly, like pressing a menu option and going into a new game. So yeah, we go into here and you get banished into the farming game. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a pretty compelling game. I'm really excited about it. I can't wait for the next play test, which will probably be about a month and a week from now, something like that. So yeah, now you're in the farming game and now your character's confused because like you just came from a platformer. So yeah, you don't get an explanation here either. They just say like, hey, welcome to the game. And yeah, now you start messing around in here. And it's not until, if I do this, so at the end of the farming game, you're going to get this key, which I'm kind of skipping through a lot here. You get this key, you go into the community center, and you toggle a switch. I'm going to speed this up. And some portals open, and you go from here into the next game. So yeah, this is how you connect between the games. Go the Pico 8 route and like the limitations. Yeah. When I get good at game dev, I'll make the UI super emerging, like in all the games that was in Universe theme. The UI like Diablo. I'm not totally sure I understand what you mean, but it sounds cool from what I do understand. I just got here. I'm so confused. Looks cool. Hey, Org. Welcome in. Yeah, we're making a game called Stuck in a Broken Tutorial. And it's really a collection of what I'm calling sub-games. So you go through one broken tutorial and make it to the next one eventually. Are all these going to share the same world or universe? Sort of. So that like connective tissue that I was talking about is called the Architect's Realm. They are the creator of these games. That is sort of in common, but you don't see it from every game. Oh yeah, I do, Casey. Don't worry. Can't wait to play it. Yeah, I'm very excited. And we've got some, let me see if I can show you this. We've got some artwork done now for, I love this thing. This is like the greatest logo. We got a logo for the game. We've got some capsule art. Where is the capsule art? Hang on, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, here. Got capsule art for Steam. It's looking pretty good. So this character is the platforming version of the character, but you have the same identity throughout. And that's part of the reason why we wanted this tool to exist, so that you can see that you're the same character throughout. So whatever you customize, you would know, and then you'd expect it for the other one. So like if you picked, yeah, this, like you're a, demon character with red hair and purple boots, then in the farming game, you're also going to have red hair and purple boots. And that way you'll identify it as like, oh, that's me. But yeah, the default colors are what we'll have in the logo. Yeah, the goat, he's doing a great job. All right, white did nothing. Change this to add override. Yeah, so this would work, but this is probably gonna be very slow now. I'm gonna have to review this when I get back. Like I said, oh, nice. All right, now the red color isn't really visible. Yeah, I don't know. We'll look at this when I get back. I actually didn't remember the name of the world from Myst. Wow. Yeah, it's been a long time. They write games. Yeah. Fun to see the progress. And then a weekend where Quickie Joe delivers a bundle of assets. Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's going to be one of the greatest things is when we go from this game where we got the character and we'll eventually have their colors here too, to this game and they look like they're the same character. We already have a mock-up of this idle animation, but it's not in the game and it's only that one animation. I do none of the art by myself. I'm very bad at artwork. Yeah, this is a combination of asset packs and Quickie Joe. Architect reminds me of the Matrix. Yeah, there's very like Matrix-esque elements in this. Same I plan to do none of it. Yeah. Where I like working on like creative media, I suppose, is not just the game, is the music. So I have composed all the music for the game, and there, I mean, some of it's here, some of it's like the top-down shooter stuff isn't there, but like this is relaxing farming music. I know I'm talking over it, but like, okay, I composed that. I composed everything. Yeah, this tune, the tune when you fall here. It's not playing the animation. And the title screen, I guess. So there are, I think, 4 tracks in the game so far, but I've almost got the top-down shooter one done. I think for the loot box game, we're going to put in 2 tracks from my last game. So I'm probably going to take, like, if you just go to my channel here, I'm probably just going to take, like, track 2 and 3 or something and just slap them into the game. But okay, I've been talking about getting lunch and I haven't actually gotten lunch. It's now 11:43. So I'm going to go and get some food. I will be back in about an hour, maybe a little bit longer, and we'll stream for another couple hours and just try to get stuff done. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for bearing with me. There's Discord if you want it, and I will see you next time.